What's up, guys? Welcome back. Yeah, it takes a while for all that stuff to load. I don't know why, but welcome. JE Live. It is me, yours truly. Probably shouldn't say that because I know that's how OJ Simpson announces himself. So let's note to self: don't say yours truly. Okay, good. We got that. How the hell are we all doing? We're it's a Monday. We're at the beginning of the week, but there's no better way to start a week than doing a live stream. Am I right? What's up, Abe? How we doing? Peo? 62 days away from Rams Bears. Damn, it's coming. It's coming. What's up, Will? So I didn't know what to title it again. You know, the titles don't really mean much. It's all about, the stream content. And if you guys are wondering if I'll continue to clip these videos and turn them into other videos so other people can digest them in smaller doses, yes, I plan on doing that every single time I release a video like this. Anytime I do a live stream, I'm going to clip that 3 times, 3 different parts. My things that stick out to me the most that I want to make content on, and I will repost these. So that way you don't have to go through the entire thing. What is up, Trevor? How we doing? Bill, what's up? Thoughts on Corbett at center? I love him. I think he's going to be great. Ryan, I love John. I don't think John Wolford is better than Dak Prescott. Why people get mad when I break into their house? God, Aiden, you are just too funny. You were just too funny. What's up, CMDR? How we doing? Make sure, if you haven't already, I'm always going to bug you to do it, but you make sure to join the Discord channel. We have a growing community. We have 267 people in there. So be sure to be a part of 268 and so forth. We are going to be using that a ton during the season. So be sure. Link is dropped. I got some news coming, potential merch down the line, like a whole new merch line, Rams related, not just my logo, but like legitimate Rams merch. So you guys get hyped for that. We'll be sure to, get that out to you as soon as we have that. Really excited about the future. We just closed the deal, with, BetUS, for Downtown Rams, and it's a huge deal, and we're really excited. It's our biggest yet, so it's a huge sponsorship, and they're great. We're so excited to be partnered with them. Just have to give shout outs to Blaine Grisak, the managing editor of Downtown Rams. He'll be on Thursday. I think we're going to go on at 9, and we're going to talk about our top 10 per position in the NFL. So I think that'll be a fun time. Also, big shout out to my podcast co-host, Alexis Kraft, who will be coming on soon in some capacity. She's obviously been a huge help for me, and has been an amazing co-host. And I really do appreciate her. Big shout out to guys like Chalk and Patrick Pryor. I've mentioned those guys. I'm really excited to do all sorts of content with them. It's just gonna be fun, guys. You like the Rams, definitely make sure you're checking out downtownrams.com. That's where I got my start. So if you're wondering how I just showed up on YouTube, I didn't just show up. I've actually been doing Downtown Rams since 2016. So I've been around. I just haven't been on the YouTube platform because I'm an idiot. Because clearly, this is where it's at. Am I right? This is the best platform. The second biggest search engine in the world besides Google. So, that's all I can say with that. But I hope you guys are having a great night. Hope I can make it better. So we'll try to do that. I'm just going to go through. Obviously, Ask Me Anything is always in full force when I do a JE Live if it's solo. If it's with a guest, it's a little different format. You guys know the drill, but I just figured I'd throw that anyway. So, all right. Let's see. Do you think Matt Stafford will break Kurt Warner's record? For touchdown passes, like where are we going here? Because I think Goff has the record for passing yards in a season, but maybe not. Yeah, I think Matthew Stafford is going to hold those records for sure. What's up, King? Easy, how we doing? Woo, that video on Keyshawn was crazy. Thanks, Luke. I tried, you know. You guys know I have personality. I know sometimes I can sound like a board, you know, just like you're, you know, I may be insightful, but I'm trying to do a better job. I mean, you know, my course, my course instructor for, you know, I'm doing a YouTube course with Sean Cannell, and he always says, you know, get 1% better every video. And that's what I'm trying to do, right? I'm just trying to get 1% better every video. I know I'm not perfect. I appreciate all the feedback. I know people, you know, have said your volume's too low, or you're not, you know, you're kind of, you don't have much of a personality. Like when I'm getting analytical and things like that, I understand, like I have a kind of a monotone voice. It like kind of stays that way. But you guys have known since you guys have started watching my live streams, I'm pretty animated. I use my hands when I'm talking. I'm using it right now, not even realizing it. I change my vocal inflection changes. I change my pitch and my tone, and you know, just to make, you know, statements and things like that. So I'm trying to get better each video, and I think the Keyshawn Johnson video allowed me to kind of explore that live stream self that I have. So I just wanted to point that out. Yup, join the Discord, y'all. Congrats on the sponsorship, by the way. Thank you, Will. Or partnership. Yeah, either one works. Like and join the Discord, or I'm gonna send a video of you eating bacon to PETA. You are something else, man. You make me laugh all the time. King Easy, will you collab with Rams House or Rams Talk? Yes, I will at some point. Kind of, you know, crazy right now with everything going on, but you know, we'll get that together. I'm not opposed to it at all. You know, Payo, if you're on here, I'd love to come on, you know, do a collab with you. I'd definitely be down with that. On top of that, I have some news. I'll be having Dave Kluge from Football Guys. He will be coming on, as well as Alex Rollins. And if you guys don't know Alex Rollins, he is a film guru. He is one of the best film breakdown guys in this whole industry, in my opinion. And you can find him on YouTube. And if you want to learn a little bit about Brandon Staley's defense and the little nuances and how things work so well, he has a very perfect video. And yes, I said very perfect. How, you know, English and, you know, literate that is. But anyway, it is perfect because he explains it a way that anybody can understand it. So definitely you're going to want to check out Alex Rollins' YouTube. He'll be on in 2 weeks. Dave will be next week. So looking forward to him. He's, you know, a growing name in the fantasy football industry. So I'm really excited to have him on. At some point or another, we're looking to get Steffi Smalls back on. Alexis, Blaine's on Thursday. Devin Jackson of literally all sorts of places. I mean, he writes everywhere, but mainly known for Steelers Depot and, of course, Blue Chip Scouting, friends of ours, friends of mine. And so, you know, we got a lot of stuff planned, and I'm trying to get big guests on here too. So we'll see what we can do, you know, and for those of you who don't know, I actually got verified on Twitter. So Downtown Rams got verified first, and I got verified recently. A lot of you have already, you know, said congrats, so I appreciate it. But I did want to make that apparent that I did get verified. So I think that'll give me a platform, more of a platform. I'll be able to grow quicker. And it helps, man. It helps with the algorithm. I'll be able to connect with people more likely, you know. I mean, think about it. If you DM a professional athlete that has a check mark and you don't have a check mark, they're not going to necessarily either see it or they won't. They'll look at it and be like, okay. But you have that check mark, and all of a sudden it kind of changes the game a little bit. So, you know, I I really do hope that this helps out. I think it will. We're going to make the most of the 2021 season without a freaking doubt. So I'm really excited for that. Let's see here. Yo, you ready for this Loki episode? Dude, I'm ready for it so much. I've literally watched the series all the way through 3 times besides the last episode because it's not out yet. I don't know if anyone saw Black Widow, but Black Widow is awesome. It's very, very good. It still ended up as like my 18th Marvel movie, but I definitely enjoyed it. Let's see here. Do you do any sports betting? Found it a bit odd that you had a partnership announced that you've never mentioned it that I can recall. Congrats on the deal, though. Yeah, I do some from time to time, and obviously I think that'll change a little bit, with our partnership with BetUS. So, yeah, I will let you guys know. The pretty much as obvious as I can make this, our tag, if you guys, and I don't know exactly what it will entail. I don't know what our listeners and our viewers will receive, but that stuff is being ironed out. But we got all the deal done, and essentially we're going to stick with the DTR promo code. So anything that we have a promo for, DTR will be that promo code until you hear otherwise. If it's Downtown Rams. If it's for me, I like to stick to JKB, but that's for the channel. Yeah, this is where it's at. Do you see all of this year's draft picks making the team? If so, who gets? If not, who gets cut? Bill, I think everyone's going to make the team. So that's what I'll say there. What is your best memory at a Rams game? It's crazy. I've been at, crazy Rams games, right? I went to a 51-17 affair. The Rams beat the Giants. It was great. You watching Jared Goff has 4 touchdowns in the freezing cold, and it's raining, and, all we hear about are small hands. He's not going to be able to play in the cold. He's not going to be able to play in New York, really New Jersey for tax purposes. But anyway, so, he throws 4 touchdowns. They dominate, right? Robert Woods, 3rd and 33. He takes it to the house on a bubble screen. Yes, a bubble screen. That was one of my favorite moments for sure. I also saw Donnie Avery catch a pass from Mark Bulger. I was in the standing room only years ago, probably 2008, 2009, something like that, against the New England Patriots. And it was Matt Castle versus Matt Castle versus Mark Bulger. And Mark Bulger threw a bomb to Donnie Avery. So that was great. I saw the comeback, Sam Bradford's 4th quarter comeback to keep the Rams in the playoff hunt at the end of the season versus the Buffalo Bills. They went to Buffalo. They really got their butt kicked throughout the entire game, and they came back and threw a game-winning touchdown to Brandon Gibson. That was huge. What else? I mean, the Packers game. Man, I don't know. The Packers game, when Ty Montgomery took it out of the end zone and he fumbled, that was a moment, man. That was a moment. Watching Todd Gurley catch that touchdown down the sideline, watching Rodgers get sacked by Aaron Donald and Corey Littleton. Oh, man, And then the Saints game, I mean, watching Cooper Kupp, week 2 of the NFL season, Cooper Kupp breaks like 4 tackles, and Robert Woods, throws 4 blocks on the play against the Saints. That was pretty fun. Jared Goff throwing a touchdown in the back of the end zone to Brandon Cooks. That was a lot of fun. I mean, there are a lot of great moments. I'll even say this. The worst game, maybe of all time, the Rams Case Keenum against the Jets Bryce Petty. It was a 9-3 ball game, and Bryce Petty's trying to win the game because they have the ball, and Alec Ogletree picked the ball off and ended the game, and that was cool. Again, pretty bad game, but it ended with a Rams win. If you're doing the math, I left out one game, and that was the Rams and at the time, Redskins, don't cancel me. They're now the Washington football team. And basically, that game, I mean, I'll be honest with you, that was one of the craziest touchdowns I've ever seen. That was the one where Todd Gurley leaped over Bashad Breeland to, dive into the end zone. So that was crazy. So, I mean, I've had some great experiences going to games, and I'm lucky. The Rams have only lost 2 of those games. They lost to the Patriots. They should have won that game. And then they lost to the Redskins, and they should have won that game. But aside from that, they beat the Saints. They beat the the Bills, the Jets, the Giants, the Packers, and the Saints. So, I mean, those are a bunch of dubs that I got a chance to watch. But, yeah. Let's see here. You're doing a good job, bro. Just keep being yourself. You got this far. Absolutely, man. You know it. You know I'm not going to change. It doesn't. I always say this. Like, people are like, well, you'll make a lot of money and then you'll start wearing like Gucci and stuff. I'm like, bro, I will be rocking the same $15 t-shirt and the same shorts or, you know, hoodie or whatever if I was rich versus where I am now. You know, because not everything is material, you know. So I would spend that money on equipment to better my setup, as you guys know, and you guys have seen. So I'm not going to be changing. That's not me. Really been enjoying Downtown Rams content recently. Do Downtown Rams do call-in shows ever? Some call-in shows? Like, what do you mean by that, Peo? Because, I mean, are you talking about the podcast or, like, the website in general? Because I really do appreciate that. King Easy, what's up, Peo? Sanaka, yo, let's go. Another Jake stream. Thank you for the for the hype there. Scott, Jake, do you think there's any pros for having Goff over Stafford aside from age? Have seen a lot of older Rams fans upset that we got rid of Goff for an older quarterback. LOL. If you want Steffi on here, just offer her some White Claw. So, look, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, the Jared Goff age is a legitimate, like, I get that, right? You know, Jared Goff, what is he, 25, 26 years old? Stafford's like 33. I get that, right? You know, that's a big age gap. And plus, Goff was younger than Wentz. That was another reason why the Rams went with him. He was younger. They felt like he could, you know, there'd be a bridge there. He could really grow with LA. Well, you know, at the same time, you look and I'm like, well, I mean, let's just go into it. I mean, Stafford essentially, I don't know the exact numbers in my mind, but like he's on pace. If, say, he finishes the season the way I expect, he's looking at being projected 11th. I believe, and all this stuff is really close. Like, I might be off like by like, you know, a spot. But anyway, pretty much everything is 11th, 10th, or 12th place. Passing yards behind, I believe, Matt Ryan. Passing touchdowns behind Aaron Rodgers. Passing touchdowns behind Matt Ryan. Passing yards behind Matt. Okay, let's restart this. Passing touchdowns behind Matt Ryan. Matthew Stafford, all time. Passing yards behind Aaron Rodgers, all time. Pass completions behind Aaron Rodgers, all time. Now, I understand Rodgers didn't start a ton. You know, like, it took him a while to get going because, you know, he had to wait when Brett Favre was there. But Matthew Stafford, he's a Super Bowl away from being a auto ballot into the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. But that begs the question, because everyone's, like, talking about it. It went viral. Dominique Foxworth on ESPN, on Get Up, said, let's be honest, Dak Prescott is better than Matthew Stafford. And he brought up QBR as the reason. I don't even look at QBR. QBR benefits a mobile quarterback. But at the very least, Matthew Stafford, his best QBR season is better than Dak Prescott's best QBR season. And Matthew Stafford's worst QBR season is still better than Dak Prescott's worst QBR season. So that's something to consider. On top of that, why are we pegging the two? Why are we making it this competition? Can't we enjoy talent for what talent is? Dak Prescott's a phenomenal quarterback, guys. I know he gets a lot of crap, and I mean, he plays for the Dallas Cowboys, so some of it's brought on because of the fans. But hear me out when I say this, okay? Dak Prescott was on pace to throw over 6,000 yards last year. His team was utterly atrocious. And by the way, that's exactly the type of crap that Tony Romo went through, that I kept saying when people were like, Tony Romo's horrible, Tony Romo this, Tony Romo that. Yup, I'm sorry, Dallas fans. It's Tony Romo's fault. He threw 6 touchdowns in this game, and you guys gave up 7 to Peyton Manning. It's totally Tony Romo's fault. And I saw the same thing with Dak Prescott. Not that the fans were after him, but he was going through the same thing. Go back, you look at that Browns game. Are you kidding me? It was like 41-39. Like I said, Prescott was on pace to go over 6,000 yards last year. No running game to speak of because all of a sudden Zeke Elliott decided to start being overrated and not actually perform up to par. He also gained some pounds too. That probably didn't help. Tony Pollard's the better back there. No one can tell me otherwise. But to me, like, Dak Prescott was on pace to be the MVP unanimously, just based on his statistical output. He was basically asked to be the team, carry the team. I know he had weapons. You don't need to tell me. I know Amari Cooper's really good. I know CeeDee Lamb's really good. I know Michael Gallup's really good. But Dak was up for the challenge. So when I see this, and it's, Dak Prescott is better than Matthew Stafford, I think it's just a disservice to the two because I think they're on that same tier. I'm almost positive. I'll look it up right now, but I'm almost positive before I even look it up that I have Stafford at 6 and I have Dak at 7, and that's exactly where that article had him. So we're going to look it up right now, but I'm almost positive that article with all those executives being polled on who the best at each position were, I'm almost positive that, I have that. So I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to find out because I need to know. But I'm pretty sure that's where I had it. So, all right, let's see. Where do I have them? Okay, number 1, we got Patrick Mahomes. Not trying to spoil the top 100, the JE 100, but here we are. I'm just going to tell you my quarterbacks. All right. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes heading into 2021. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers heading into 2021. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 4, Russell Wilson. Number 5, Deshaun Watson. Okay. Deshaun Watson probably is going to play, but I was really iffy to put him on the list because I don't know if he's going to play 100%. It's very, very quiet on that side. Anyway, number 6, Matthew Stafford. Now, I have Matthew Stafford winning the MVP. This is going into 2021. This isn't coming out of 2021. So keep that in mind. Number 7, Josh Allen. Okay. Number 8, Dak Prescott. So, I think Dak Prescott unanimously is a top 10 quarterback. Well, without a doubt. I don't even think it's close. But I also feel that way now with Matthew Stafford being with the Rams. And he was like that with the Lions. Just no one wanted to watch Lions football. I watched it, but... All right, let's check this thing out here. I get on a tangent, and then I need to see what you guys are saying, because I don't get to see what you guys are saying. Okay. Scott B. Experience alone is one of the pros. When your verified people want to listen... Have you watched the new trio of horror slasher movies on Netflix? I have not. Please let me know which ones you're talking about because I need to do that. I've been watching a horror movie every night. I average about 5 horror movies a week. Whether it's a rewatch or not. I just finally saw the prequel to... It's the prequel remake. I don't know. It's really weird. But anyway, it's a prequel to The Thing. And I thought it was really cool. We for sure will make the collaboration happen, Jake. Thank you, Peo. Just let me know. Most of the games I've been to were all Rams and Cardinals. Not one for not one for variety, I guess, Luke. No, I'm messing with you. Sup, excited for the season coming. Thanks, Rob. I am too. Peo, the third and long was the only time a third and long bubble screen worked. LOL. It seems that way. What's up, old man Ghost? How we doing? Sanaka, Jake, can you tell me what a Rams game day is like for you? How do you prepare for it if you have anyone over or doing play-by-play commentary stream? And what's your game drink or food of choice? Oh, this is a great question. So, thank you. That it's wordy, but it's a great question, Sanaka. So I'll just take you through my game day. Okay, since the Rams normally play at 4, we'll just say they play at 4. I get up as early as I can. I make sure I set all of my lineups in fantasy. And I'll do placeholder stuff. So if it's not best ball, I'll do the guys that I think are most likely to play. So, like, if a guy might have more points if he plays, but it's kind of a question mark, I normally don't play those guys, right? I put safe over aggressive, and then at the right around the time when inactives start coming out, that's when I play aggressive if I want to. So I do all my fantasy football lineups. I eat a nice breakfast, and it's going to be different this year because I'm going to be doing the AJ show every Sunday. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to be doing the AJ show every Sunday. So that'll change it a lot. But, I'll have the fantasy lineup set. I'll eat a nice breakfast. I'll get on. Last year, wrote an article, did whatever, was making content on Twitter, Facebook, graphics, you name it, getting ready for game day, posting the game day graphics, interacting with people, doing a really poor job of interacting on Discord. So we will change that this year. And yeah, that was how I set up. So, the 1:00 games, I had, my monitor here. It's 49 inches. So I had multiple games to spread out. And then I had my laptop. So I had a game on there. And then when the Rams came on, I just went upstairs to the 75-inch TV and watched it with my family. And that was, that's pretty much my, my Sunday in a nutshell. So it'll be a lot different this year because I have a show to record, and I do want to do live streams during the 1:00 games. Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. I want to do some of them. I don't know if I'll be able to do all of them. I will be doing the pregame right before the Rams game, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes before. We'll do a live stream, and then after, of course, we'll do a live stream. So, yeah, that's Sanaka. I hope that answers your question. Oh no, it didn't, because you asked what your game drink or food of choice. I would say my game drink. To be honest, I'm not a heavy drinker. I don't drink a ton of alcohol. So, I mean, if it's at a bar, it would be a sour ale because I can't get them anywhere because IPAs dominate everything. But, I'd probably say a Blue Moon. And then I would say as far as game food, it would have to be anything buffalo. Buffalo wings, buffalo dip, anything. I will take it, So that's what I would say to answer your question. Don Burr says Jared Goff in all caps. What about him? Also, interesting stat I found. What's up, Scott B? In Stafford's 3 playoff games, the defense allowed an average of 442 yards per game, and Detroit rushed for an average of 57 yards per game. That is amazing. Since 1940, all teams combined when they rushed between 47 to 67 yards and allowed between 412 to 472 yards in a playoff game have a win-loss percentage of 0.105. Holy hell. Scott, that's a great poll. I've seen that before. I'm glad you reminded me about that. That's a great stat poll. What's up, Nolan? How we doing? I think if you had a call-in fan show for DC Rams as a live show, it could be really cool, kind of like Pat McAfee. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, we've tried in the past doing like Google voice and stuff like that. It just doesn't work out that well. So I'll probably just do it on here, to be honest with you. Let's see here. What up to the chat room? I'd take Dak without a second thought, says Trevor. Sup, Nolan. Dak is deadly basketball player. He's good at breaking ankles. Oof. Man, Aiden, you are just roasting people today. I'll be looking for your pregame, what to look for after action report. They don't do the replays like they used to with the X's and O's. It's true. Discord's always popping off. Join up, friends. Yes, do that. I'm not seeing the case for Stafford over Allen or Dak. Well, I'll say this. I think there's a fair argument to make that Josh Allen, and I don't take credit for this because Adam, my cousin, is the one that said this. Josh Allen has not played with fans since he started this like ascension. So I want to see him in the games with fans in the stands with the pressure. I want to see him perform. And I'll tell you right now, the biggest issue I have with Josh Allen and why he's not like top 3 like for some people, the dude runs 40 yards backwards. Like, he took them almost out of... I think he did take them out of field goal range against the Colts in the playoffs and then took a 40-yard sack against the Chiefs. I have a problem with that. Like, I don't want my quarterback doing that, and Stafford's not going to do that. Friendly reminder to hit that like, folks. Thank you, Peo. I will be... yeah, okay, I saw that. That's because IPAs are cheap to make, and every brewery makes them. Thank you, Ryan. If you're a sour ale fan in here, I love you. I'm just going to say that. Bro, thanks for your answer. Just grab a 6-pack of Coke because I'm only 17, LOL. Hey, I hear you, man, you know. I mean, I really didn't start drinking until I, like, turned 21, to be honest with you. And I don't drink a ton, so I hear you there. Scott B dropping gems, you know it. I'm late, but Stafford is better. Join the Discord. I've run out of things to threaten people with. What's up, Nugget Rose? The fan trio on Netflix in order: Fear Street 1994, Fear Street 1978, and Fear Street 1966. I haven't watched them yet myself. I was wondering what you thought if you had. Well, one Funky Lions fan, I'm going to be copying what you just said, and I'm going to put it right in my notes for later. So I appreciate you because I want to make sure that I have that documented because I'm going to check that out. As you guys know, like horror, I'm a huge horror buff. So most of you guys know. There's still probably some people getting to know that, but you know. FYI, I go by Carney. What's up, Carney? I saw you join the Discord. I welcomed you to said Discord. And right now, I think everyone that's active in the Discord is actually in the YouTube chat, so that's why. Substance, how we doing? I just caught that 180. Smash that like button. Don Burr in the house. LOL, sup, bro. I drink too much. That's my biggest gripe with Allen. He drops back 20 yards to avoid a sack. Like, bro, where are you going? I've been a Rams fan since they lost the Super Bowl against the Steelers. Damn, it's been a while then. That's some hardcore fandom. I'm going out on a limb here and saying Lions will be plus 500 and make the playoffs. I think so, too. The Lions make the playoffs if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play for Green Bay. I think they win the division, but I think they could make the playoffs even without that. That's a fair point with Allen. I've just been convinced by his play. He showed some horrible tape his first 2 years, but he finally took advantage of his elite traits last year. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that makes sense, Trevor. I'm not hating on your opinion there. I respect it. Stafford's 2020 deep passing percentage, 20-plus yards downfield. With Patricia, 10.1%, 22nd in NFL for starting quarterbacks. Head coach Bevel, 19.7, first in NFL for starting quarterbacks. Damn. And I've never been a Darrell Bevel fan, I can tell you that much. It's not a big gap between the two quarterbacks, but who will have a better season? Predict, please. Well, I have Stafford winning the MVP. I think it's going to be between Stafford and Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert and Stafford are going to go at it. And then I think they'll play in the Super Bowl. And I think even though Stafford won the MVP, I think he'll still win the Super Bowl. Because normally it's like, okay, you won the MVP, but I'll win the title. Man, this is fun. I like having more than 30 people in here, even though we're kind of scratching that. But I have people on Facebook I can see, and I just realized I never loaded up my Facebook. So I'm heading on there right now. We'll be talking with you guys. We'll be answering your questions. Yeah, if Allen was my quarterback, I would rather have him take the sack than try to pull a crazy Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson off the back foot throw. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to knock on him because I love that he tries to keep the play alive, but you got to learn to play another down. You got to live to play another down, and he doesn't do that. He does not know how. Like, it's just not, he does not compute to that. You know, my scouting reporter, Josh Allen, you guys ever see Live Free or Die Hard, the movie? Remember the scene where John McClane shoots himself through his chest to kill the guy that's holding him at the end of the movie or near the end of the movie? That is Josh Allen's play in a nutshell. He will shoot himself through the chest to try to hit the bad guy. He will literally sacrifice himself to try to win the play. But you can't win every down. You got to play, you got to live to play another down. And I just don't I don't see that out of him. He's got to be less, because he's going to get hurt. I don't know, to this day, I don't know how the hell he walked out of the Rams game with a win, and I don't know how he walked out of the Rams game not hurt. He gets himself in like the weirdest positions with his legs, and you just worry about him, man. Donald's crashing. You have Floyd. You have Ibukam coming. Kenny Young, whoever. And it's like, bro, his legs are in a really bad spot where if he gets hit in a certain way, he's done for the year. So, you like the reference, Nolan. I knew you would. Goff will give your offense a new perspective. Should be fun. Christian Cole, do you think fans could affect Rams negatively? No, I don't think so. Devontre Lewis, how we doing over on Facebook? I see you. What's up? Which undrafted free agent will surprise? Asked Clifton Davis. I'm sorry, man. I cannot talk today. Definitely enjoy the content, bro. Thank you, Clifton. So, Clifton, if you're still over there, and I do apologize that I kind of neglected you guys, not on purpose. I just totally forgot to put up the Facebook comments because for whatever reason, it doesn't show up on my Streamlabs. Maybe they'll fix that someday. They probably should, but they haven't. So, I have to manually look at it. And to answer your question, Clifton, an undrafted rookie free agent that I think will surprise, I will say it until the end of time, until he proves me wrong or right, or I'll keep saying it. That is Maximilian Roberts, and I don't know why I said Melian, but Maximilian Roberts from Boston College. He's got that quick twitch ability, somebody that's going to win as a speed rusher. He's not a super powerful guy, but I really like his athleticism. He's got a fair amount of tools, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if he made the team. That's a name to watch out for. Maximilian Roberts on the Rams. So he's got a cool name, but he might just go as Max Roberts. I don't know what he likes to be called. Personally, I think Maximilian's a dope name, but I can understand you don't want to say, "Hey, Maximilian over here" every single time. So yeah. I can't see Herbert as a top MVP contender just because it's so hard without being a top 2 seed in the conference. But, man, I love the Chargers roster. I'm so excited to watch them. Me too, Trevor. I'm excited for L.A. They're going to get 2 really good football teams. I know the Rams are obviously – they have that deep-rooted fandom. But the Chargers are going to be a good football team. So, L.A. is going to get – they're just going to win in this regard because they have 2 teams that are going to be in the top 5 in the league, top 10 in the league at the very least, but top 5 I think for the foreseeable future. So I'm pretty high on the Chargers for sure. I mean, I have them making the Super Bowl and playing the Rams, so I'll kill me to win a down. Yep, exactly, Nolan. It's Ian too cool. I hate playing against Lamar Jackson in Madden. He managed to zigzag the entire defensive line, throws a dime to Hollywood Brown, who's being triple covered by the Legion of Boom. Nugget Rose, will Kroenke or NFL kick the Chargers out of SoFi? Could they lose their license? Is it possible? So much debt? No, not possible. I don't see it. It's definitely not going to happen when they put together a really nice season. LA is not going to let that team go. Because keep this in mind, guys, when the Rams aren't playing and they're on the road, it's going to be scheduled for the Chargers to play there. So, the city of Los Angeles, or rather, Inglewood is just reaping the rewards here. They're raking in the dough. They're constantly having games at SoFi, whether the Rams are on a road trip or the Chargers are. It just works, It's a huge city. It's a huge market. Say what you will about them owing rent or pay your rent or all that, but I just don't care. I've gotten to the point where I like the Chargers. I'm not like a fan, but I like what they're doing. I really like Brandon Staley. I appreciate what he did for the Rams, but I really like guys like Derwin James. I like guys like Joey Bosa. Keenan Allen is the most underrated wide receiver in football, perhaps. Fantastic route runner. You have Austin Eckler, man. What a story with him. They have a lot of likable players. And then Chris Harris Jr. is a Kansas Jayhawk, so there's my, being a Kansas fan, of course. And then they have Asante Samuel Jr., who I loved in the draft. They have guys like Kenneth Murray. I mean, I think they're fairly easy to root for. Justin Herbert, come on. So I don't love them, but I will say that, I hope the Chargers do well. Not just so I'm right about the Super Bowl prediction, but it would be good for LA. Let's see. Do you think the Rams might have a rocky start? It might take 2 to 3 games to get in rhythm, or will they start hot? I just think the Rams are going to have a hard time to be beat, because the fact of the matter is this. If Matthew Stafford takes a little bit to get, control of the offense, they still can beat you with Cam Akers. They can beat you with the threat. So when you have guys like Deshaun Jackson that can stretch the field, Tutu Atwell, Jacob Harris, Van Jefferson, teams are going to have to get ready to defend that. And when they go to defend that, they're going to take precautionary measures. And what that does is it opens up the box, because now you can't throw 9 guys in the box when Matthew Stafford can pick you apart in man coverage. And he'll be able to torch the zone too. He's a very, very good quarterback. I mean, that's the thing I just don't think people are getting. He was always this good. He was always a top 10 quarterback, but arguably was right on the cusp of being a top 5, and you just didn't have the support around him. I mean, Scott, you mentioned the postseason. Are you kidding me? They averaged over 440 yards of total offense given up. That's insane. So, now he goes to the Rams. They're the number 1 defense last year. They have all sorts of weapons, but God forbid it doesn't come together early on. I don't think it will kill them because of what they can do with Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson in the run game. Potentially Xavier Jones. So I feel really good about that. And I think a lot of people should too. Bad calls and coverage late in the Bills game. We gave up the short pass game and script played out like so. Yeah, I still can't believe that call they made on Darius Williams and Gabe Davis. That was insane. If we didn't give up that 3rd and 22, man, we had the Bills game. Oh, that's so true. The La Bowl. The LA Bowl. I'm also a bit concerned about Herbert taking a snap. I cannot talk. Taking a step back without Lynn. His situational awareness is awful, so he's a bad head coach. But I think he helped Herbert a ton because he can coach offensively. So this is where, I'm not trying to school you, but this is where Brandon Staley is more than just a defensive coordinator. Because Brandon Staley has a background as a former quarterback. So he actually knows offense just as much as he knows the defense. And that is why he got this job. It wasn't just being the number 1 defense last year. Sean McVay knew what he was getting. This guy is a legit mind. He's a legit football mind. And so because of that, their offense is going to be fine. Staley's a genius, man. So, I mean, again, that's not a shot on you. I'm just letting you know. It's funny that you say that because, I mean, there's no way that you would have known that unless you did some research into Brandon Staley. But yeah, Brandon Staley is probably just as good of an offensive coach as Anthony Lynn. I mean, he just gets it from all sides. I think that's a huge thing about him. I wonder how many decibels a full SoFi Stadium will be making. No idea, man, but that'll be fun. Inglewood, always up to no good. Any chances Ryan T of the Titans wins MVP? Not much change from coaching staff, and he has better weapons. Potentially, but they would have to win the AFC. Like, they'd have to come in first, I think. And, if he won MVP, then I'd have to assume that Anthony Ferkser really just took off. Like, Delaney Walker, former starting tight end for the Titans a few years back, loved him. He just came out and said, Anthony Ferkser is going to be a star. So we'll see. If Ferkser's a star, not only was he right, but it's going to be huge for pumping up Ryan Tannehill. So like I said, we'll see with that. Let's see here. That's a good question, though. They definitely should have closed out the comeback. I agree with you there. Rams #1, but I also a Chargers fan. Oh, that's cool. I dig that. There shouldn't be any issue between Rams and Chargers fans. If you know you run LA, why does it matter? It's different with the Clippers. Because the Chargers, the way they started was wrong. The whole battle for LA thing was a really dumb idea. It pissed people off, and I think it turned the Chargers from somebody that, like, you didn't hate, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, they're going to have 2 teams there, to if you're a Rams fan, you're like, man, shut up. But they stopped that marketing initiative, thank God, and now I don't have an issue with them. The Clippers, however, oh my Lord. I mean, I'm sorry, Clippers fans, but just look at, like, Patrick Beverley constantly. He just does not shut his trap. Like, there's people like that on that team, and it's like, dude, like, you're the little brother. You still haven't gone to a finals. Like, chill. So, I think it's different with the Clippers. Like, when people try to compare that to the Chargers, I don't see the same thing. I feel like the Chargers are more respectful. That's just me. Okay, so where are we? 3rd and 22 was disgusting. Yeah. We got more cheese than Cheetos, Doritos, and Fritos. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm late to the party, but who do you prefer, Stafford or Dak? I prefer Stafford, but I really do like Dak, Youngham. And welcome, by the way. Allen route running is ridiculous. You're absolutely right, Nolan. It absolutely is ridiculous. He is just so good. His footwork off the line of scrimmage is crazy. Nugget Rose, I don't hate the Chargers team at all. In fact, they are one of my favorites. Just they owe lots of money, and the sister wants out. Yeah, I just hope they stay, I do have a respect for the Chargers. I know a lot of Rams fans that are diehards. I mean, I'm a diehard, but, some people don't like that. But it is what it is. I also try to be unbiased in a sense, like, I'm trying to cover all the teams as well. While this is a 75% Rams channel, like, I have knowledge of other teams, so I don't want to just, just always side with one team. Okay, so you think the Rams would have taken Eskridge? The Seahawks didn't take him right before us? Or do you think 2-2 was the plan all along? Great question, Christian. I don't know, to be honest with you. I kind of feel like they were going to take 2-2 anyway. I know they met with Eskridge. They probably liked him a lot, but there's, I'm not entirely sure that's who they were taking. What's up, Wyatt? How we doing? Wrench watch. Let's see. We for sure were aiming for Eskridge. LOL. I don't know, Scott. This home run derby, insane. I have not seen it. Man, baseball is really, I've just been totally out of baseball. I try to get into it, but the Yankees manager, I almost said Joe Girardi, The Yankees manager Aaron Boone is just not my favorite person, and I think analytics killed the sport. I know it's not dead. I know analytics killed my interest in baseball. I will say that. I think the idea of having a pitcher that he pitches 2 innings to start the game and it's a bullpen game, I just roll my eyes at. And Rob Manfred is the worst commissioner in sports history. He's just such a buffoon. I would tell him that right to his face. I would not care. Can you imagine if next year's Super Bowl have 2 home teams, LAR versus LAC? That's what I think is going to happen. Ruiz, what's up? What's up, Henry? How we doing? Nolan, I think Stafford will buy into the system quicker than Rodgers did with LaFleur. That is interesting. I didn't think about that. Perhaps, yeah. Kids Meals, what's up? LOL, I figured. Scott B. Can you guys believe we made within a month of preseason already? I know, it's crazy. We're hanging in there. Stafford greater than Dak, Carr, Tannehill, Kyler. I agree with that. I think Dak is really close. I would not mind if you took Dak over Stafford, right? But I don't think it's very close when you get into Carr, Tannehill, and Kyler. Kyler someday could be top, but right now I would still say, he's hovering around that 10 to 13 range of quarterbacks. Actually, where did I have him? I had Kyler at 11. I had Tom Brady at 9, Justin Herbert at 10. I had Tannehill at 12, Matt Ryan at 13, Joe Burrow at 15, Ben Roethlisberger at 15, or Joe Burrow at 14, Ben Roethlisberger at 15, Derek Carr at 16, Kirk Cousins at 17, Ryan Fitzpatrick at 18, Jared Goff at 19, and rounding it out 20th with Daniel Jones. And that's heading into 2021. Like that, so that's how I have the rankings heading into 2021. I'm higher on Daniel Jones than I ever expected to be, but here we are. Jake, you going to any Rams home games this season? That's the hope, Ray. I just don't know for sure. I really want to, but there's a lot going on. So if I get that all taken care of, then yeah, I would love to. I mean, that's obviously was the plan all along, and now, things get in the way, and it's not even just get in the way. Sometimes things are just super important, and you have to make sacrifices. So we'll see. But I definitely want to. Dwayne was supposed to be a Ram. Trevor. Well, I was reading it, and then they loaded, and it pushed it all the way down, or pushed it all the way up. Trevor, I had no idea. Damn, I had no idea Staley was a former quarterback. That makes me feel even better about my Coach of the Year bet on him. Oh, yeah. That's the easiest bet on planet Earth. It's so easy. Brandon Staley will be your Coach of the Year in 2021. Like, unless Justin Herbert gets hurt and they completely fall off a cliff, Brandon Staley is, to me, a guaranteed Coach of the Year. Which, I mean, is still possible. I mean, he could get hurt, but I don't know. What's happening, Jake and everyone? What's up, LA Rams? I want him think he has a better chance to last due to his weight. Interesting. I hate Patrick Beverly. Yeah. Clippers billboards pissed me off every time I saw them. Streetlight over spotlight. GTF. Hey, yeah, I agree with that. Like, I can see what they're trying to do, and just no, like, get out. Always late, but get the hell out of here. There's like a spider and just started like coming down. I was like, nope. Let's see here. Always late, but always fresh. LA Rams. LA is Rams, Lakers, and Dodgers, even though I love the Angels. Hit the like. Thank you, LA Rams. I think the Chargers would be a cool team for testing out international market, Mexico or Canada. I disagree. I think the Chargers are fine in LA. They'll be the number 2 team, but I think they'll be a solid number 2 team that is, a winner. I think people will still want to go to the stadium if they want to watch football and they know the Rams are out of town, they still might want to go to a Chargers game. And that's what that's about. And like even Chargers fans will still want to go to a Rams game when the Chargers are out of town. I really like the fact McVay can open the playbook so much in a game. It backfires, but in the back of his mind, he knows he has a quarterback, has the most comebacks since forever, that he doesn't care. That's also true. England, oh God. What's your favorite energy drink? Well, it's not really an energy drink, but my favorite drink right now is sparkling ice. I drink it all the time. It's a caffeine sparkling water drink. It's pretty much soda without sugar. Caffeine and colors come from natural sources and antioxidants and vitamins. It's hydrate, refresh, refuel. 0 fat, 0 sodium, 0 carbs, 0 protein, and it's 5 calories. So I'm sure something someday will come out and tell me how this is going to cause a huge issue to my digestive system or something like that. But until that happens, I'm going to be living on these like I've been doing recently. So that's how I would answer your question, because I don't really drink energy drinks. My favorite would be Red Bull by default, but I haven't had it in a while. And should I invest in a gaming PC? Wyatt, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the person to ask about that because I'm not really a huge gamer on the PC. I haven't really gamed in a while, but I game on PS5 really exclusively. So personally, I wouldn't invest in a gaming PC, but I'm also a content creator, so I view things differently. If I remember, though, I think you were trying to get into content creation in some capacity, so maybe you could look at investing in, a computer that would help you in that way. So I don't know, but I personally, I wouldn't invest in a gaming PC. I understand there's people that would, and that's great. I personally would not. What was all this Stafford hate on Twitter today? Dominic Foxworth earlier said that Dak Prescott was better than Stafford, and Stafford came ahead of him on a recent ESPN article, so that's why. Where did we go? Okay, depends on how often you play games. You can get a decent PC gaming for like $500 if you build it yourself. Big Ben at 15, man can't throw past 10 yards. Come on now, Trevor, that's ridiculous. I actually think Ben has turned into a pretty underrated quarterback. But I mean, on top of that, when was he ever overrated? Theoretically, Big Ben has made everyone around him better, whereas quarterbacks like Tom Brady have not. Who was Tom Brady made way better? Think about it. I'm not trying to hate on Tom Brady. Like, I had this on the AJ show, so those of you who were watching know what I'm talking about. But this idea that a quarterback makes everyone around them better, it tends to be such a cookie cutter concept because, it's like, well, he makes everyone around him better. It's like, yeah, like that's great, but like, is that true? And when you look at like Tom Brady, he didn't make Josh Boyce better. He didn't make Malcolm Mitchell better. He didn't make Aaron Dobson better. He didn't make Ryan Izzo better. Devin Lucien, N'Keal Harry. Who did he make better? We've already learned that Julian Edelman he was that good. Maybe he arguably made him better. Maybe he made Welker better, but we found out Welker went to the Broncos, and it's not like Tom Brady made him with the Broncos. Like, who did he make better? You're going to tell me Rob Gronkowski he made better? Which play did he elevate? And that's my thing. But Ben Roethlisberger, he made Emmanuel Sanders. He made Antonio Brown a 6th-round pick. He made Mike Wallace a 3rd-round pick. He made Juju Smith-Schuster. Deontay Johnson. Chase Claypool. He made all those guys around him better. That's my argument. Drew Brees had Marcus Colston, who I believe was an undrafted rookie free agent out of Hofstra. He made him better. Just saying. You know? Just because a guy is top-notch, just because a guy is very, very, very talented does not mean he makes everyone around him better. And we were talking about this, my cousin and I, Adam, we were talking about this on the AJ show. And I bring it up because it's something that's constantly always used. I feel like it's such a cookie cutter. Like, throw it in there. It's a fluff thing. But essentially, you could look at, and I'm the biggest LeBron James fan, but LeBron James, he makes people marginally better. That's going to happen when you're a great athlete. But when he went to the Cavs, he forced Andrew Wiggins out. I want to play with Kevin Love. I don't want to deal with this kid. And with the Lakers, he spends 1 year at the Lakers. And he forces, I don't want to say he forces a trade, but you know what I mean. Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart. Forces him out, gets AD. And like I said, I freaking love LeBron. Tom Brady, I don't want to play with Malcolm Mitchell and Aaron Dobson. I can't handle this. They go out and they trade for a receiver. They spend a second-round pick just to get Mohamed Sanu. I mean, think about it. They went out and they got Randy Moss. I mean, that's what they do. So that's my thing with Ben and why I feel like Big Ben is underrated. Because Big Ben, in the rare case, is one of those quarterbacks that legitimately makes everyone around him better, and it's been happening for years. Le'Veon Bell isn't the same since playing with Ben Roethlisberger. James Conner, I mean, he had a hard time with injuries, but James Conner, like, what do you think he's going to do in Arizona? He helped James Conner tremendously. So, I'm just saying. I'm very, very curious to see what, because, I mean, a lot of these guys, don't get me wrong, like, I think Aaron Rodgers elevates the players around him. Who the hell was talking about Robert Tonyan? Who was talking about Robert Tonyan before last year? Aaron Rodgers made him a household name in fantasy. Who the hell was talking about Allen Lazard? All I knew Allen Lazard for was a guy that almost tore my ACL because at the Senior Bowl, he crashed. I was on the sidelines, and he crashed in the gate, and I thought he was going to break my legs. But Aaron Rodgers turned him into a household name in fantasy. So, there are guys that make guys around them better, and there are guys that don't. It doesn't mean that they're not good, but it also doesn't mean that you could just automatically assume that everyone around him is better. I mean, you can't tell me that Chris Godwin had a better season with Tom Brady than he had with Jameis Winston. You can't tell me, like, Mike Evans had his first good season with Tom Brady. He didn't make anyone around him better. So, I'll say that. That's why I think, in conclusion, that's why I think Big Ben, being top 15, being 15th overall, like I think he's turned into a really underrated quarterback. It's sad because I think Ben Roethlisberger is one of the top quarterbacks we've ever seen play the game, but he played in the wrong era. Simple as that. He played in the era of Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Aaron Rodgers. So he doesn't get looked at in that same tier group, but you look at his statistics, he's had a pretty darn good career, has he not? So that's my take on that, Trevor. Not trying to totally trash you, but I that's my argument for Ben. Do you see the Rams making the Super Bowl, and what ranking do you see the Rams defense being this season? I do. I have them winning the Super Bowl, and I think they're a top 10 defense. I think they're going to be consistent. I think they'll have maybe some games where the offense has to win it for them, but all in all, I feel pretty good about them moving forward. Scott, now you can't anymore. Graphic cards prices are through the roof. This is true because everyone is mining Bitcoin, and graphics cards and stuff to, you know, all the way they're using them to mine and everything. Graphics cards are extremely expensive. The Rams were going to take Eskridge. The interview after the pick with McVay and Snead said they had to draft around their competitors. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. We don't know for sure. But the PC I'm looking at online is only $425. What's up, Devota? How we doing? Let's see here. Foxworth stirred up the hate, this Dak take. Good luck buying a graphics card right now. I tuned in because of the Rams and subscribed because of the amazing content. Hey, thank you so much, Carney. I appreciate you. I know you sent that earlier, but I really wanted to get through my point, and I wanted to also make sure that I saw that, and I want to give you, obviously, a shout-out. I appreciate you donating. It does mean a lot. It helps the channel tremendously, and it gets us just one step closer to our goal of eventually being able to quit that full-time job, whatever it may be down the road, and do this full-time, because this is all I want to do full-time. I want to live stream every single night. And by the way, for future reference, if this became my full-time job, which it will, but it's a matter of when, right? When this becomes my full-time job, I will be streaming every single day in some capacity. So keep that in mind as well. Like, you'll constantly be getting content from me, because I wouldn't just quit my job and be like, I'm not going to work. I'm just going to do, you know, the same stuff, same amount of effort I'm putting into YouTube. No, that's not how I roll. This would be my full-time job, and I'd be treating it like full-time job. I'd be working the 8 hours that I'd be working another job on this. It would just be a dream, and it's going to be a dream when it happens. There's no if. So I should stop saying that, because it's going to happen. I'm really excited for it to happen. Okay, I have Epic in Miami on YouTube. It is Chargers playoff win years ago. Love that game. I can't wait for the uniforms any longer. Thank goodness those whites and blacks were confirmed fake. I agree with you. They are so good. So you think if the Rams were to draft Rodrigo Blankenship instead of the other kicker, we'd be good at the kicker position? I think they're fine now. I mean, I think Matt Gay's great, but, you know, yeah. Where's the Canada Dry? Oh, man, that's funny. We really got into the Canada Dry hard. I kind of gave up soda. I mean, I know this is technically soda, but it's not. There's no sugar, so Canada Dry has retired from the Jake Ellenbogen live show. Chargers move. T9 England is a no for Jake, but I get the ticket sales thing. Chargers are a great number 2 for LA. I agree. Jake, we don't need to hear Chargers love here. JK, but seriously, though. Jake, don't drink too much of the soda because it will make you have the... All right, my guy. I'm good, though. I will say Tate and Jones' best seasons are with Stafford. Thank you, Auto Modder. That's also what I was getting at, but I was really trying to make the point on Ben Roethlisberger. I didn't actually say that about Stafford. Exactly. Marvin Jones had his best season with Matthew Stafford. Golden Tate had his best season with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford elevates the play around him. You look at TJ Hawkinson, you look at just guys like Jesse James, he elevates everyone around. Danny Amendola, where did that season come from? I mean, he actually was pretty good this year. So, yeah, totally agree with you. Absolutely elevates the play of everyone around him, except for Calvin. That dude was just another level. Are there more players on the Rams that we should be looking at for this season? Sorry for all the questions, but you have great info on the team. Yeah, T-Bear, no, I appreciate that. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at guys to take a look at, but maybe, you know, you don't know too much about, I'd say Jake Gervais, who's going to be transferring to linebacker. He ran a 1.47 10-yard split, which would be the fastest in the NFL for a linebacker. He ran a 4.4. Guy that can tackle, leader at Iowa. He's an intriguing option. If he can make the transition to linebacker, he has an opportunity to start. Also want to take a look at Maximilian Roberts, who can make the roster as a UDFA out of Boston College. I mentioned him earlier. You also want to take a look at a guy like Ernest Brown IV. Really interested to see how they use him. If they use him like Morgan Fox was used. If they use him, more of as an edge defender. Stand-up pass rusher, things like that. So that's a curious thing for me. And Jacob Harris. How are they going to use Jacob Harris? Because, man, if they get him involved early on, it's not about Jacob Harris adapting, in my opinion. It's about how many reps do they give Jacob Harris? Because if they give him a lot of reps, he's going to have a lot of success, I think. That's just somebody you just got to give the opportunity, and I think he will make the most of it. So I feel really good about what they have on this roster. I'm excited to see guys like Dante Dion. I think Dion can win that nickel job. So there's a lot of exciting pieces there. Those are just a few names that you should be watching as we move on, throughout training camp and so forth. Substance, Jake, how do you think our defense will do this year against Seattle's offense? Which team's offense next to ours is the scariest in our division? It's a great question. Now, I know a lot of people will look at Seattle and say, well, they have Russell Wilson, they have Chris Carson, they have DK Metcalf, they have Tyler Lockett, they have Dwayne Eskridge, they have Gerald Everett, and think that is the scariest and, improving offense. But, I think all of them are equal, because if you look, Arizona, they have Kyler Murray, which is, it's like having Russell Wilson, not as pinpoint accurate, but he's faster. He can make plays with his legs. You have arguably the best receiver in the league in DeAndre Hopkins. If AJ Green catches on to what he used to be, he's going to be a freak. You have Christian Kirk. You added the kid from Purdue, Rondale Moore. I don't know why I almost forgot his name. Andy Isabella is still there, So they don't have the tight end that the Seahawks have. They have Max Williams for some reason. Then you look at the Niners. I think the Niners are being slept on here, because if they roll out Trey Lance, they have Trey Sermon, they have Raheem Mostert if he stays healthy, they have Elijah Mitchell. But on top of that, when you look at the receivers, you're talking about having a core group of two guys that like to catch the football and they run like running backs. That's Deebo Samuel on one side, Brandon Ayuk on the other. In the slot, you have a big slot receiver, former running back out of Tennessee, transferred to Baylor. That is Jalen Hurd. If he stays healthy, man, he could have a really good year. So you have him. And then on top of that, you have George Kittle. To me, I kind of feel like the 49ers might be the scariest offense after the Rams because of the potential. I'm not saying necessarily that they're the safest pick to put there, but the potential is through the roof. We have not had a chance to see what Jalen Hurd could do. We know what Deebo can do. Deebo himself is a Ram killer. We saw Brandon Ayuk getting comfortable towards the end of the year, and we know George Kittle, in my opinion, is the best tight end in football. So if Trey Lance, who is my number one quarterback in the draft, if he starts immediately, I think he can give them a boost. And now all of a sudden, you have all those weapons. No more Jimmy G. No more CJ Beathard. No more Nick Mullins. Like, you have a guy that is a true dual threat quarterback and changes the whole complexion of the offense. So that's my argument there for the 49ers. But that's a great question. It's not an easy one to answer. And I could see multiple reasons for that. Let's see here. Do you have any take on why you think what Chicago does with Fields? They're talking like they want to redshirt him, but for Chicago's sake, I hope they sacrifice Dalton week 1 than go with Fields. I have no dispute with your Big Ben argument, but that's more like career-wise. I think a lot of it isn't relevant for 2021 when his arm is more of a noodle maybe than other starting quarterbacks. That's fair. Obviously, Big Ben is falling off a little bit, but I still look at the guy and he threw over 500 yards in the playoffs. I mean, the dude can still play in this league. That there's no doubt about that. So that's why he's 15th for me. As far as Fields goes, the idea of not playing Justin Fields just actually blows my freaking mind. Like, you're going to trot out Andy Dalton. It's like, do you even want to win? What's your goal? And Andy Dalton, to me, is not a starting quarterback in the league. Neither is Nick Foles. But Justin Fields has a chance to be not just a starter, a star. And when you look at the dynamic he has to run, with the ball in his hands, he's got, on one hand, he's got Tariq Cohen coming back from injury. He's got David Montgomery. He's got one of the most violent receivers in the league when it comes to high pointing the football, making aggressive catches, and that is Allen Robinson. And I actually, I'm going to try to pull it up, and I probably won't find it. Maybe I will. We'll try. Soon to be my guest on the show, Dave Kluge, he from Football Guys, he actually put this up. And I'm going to try to find it here, and I did find it awesome. So Allen Robinson has he has 98 contested catches over the last 2 years. The next closest player has 81. So Allen Robinson has more contested catches than any wide receiver in football over the last 2 years. Thank you, Dave, for that stat, courtesy of his Twitter. That is something that I find really interesting, but it's also something that's going to help a guy like Justin Fields. When you have a rookie quarterback that can run, suddenly things will become easier. That does not mean that they're out of the woodwork, because as we saw, RG3, his rookie year, there was a lot of hype, and he made a lot of things happen with his legs, but he got himself into injury trouble. That can happen with Fields, but Fields is more of a quarterback than a running quarterback than RG3 was. And so that's my thinking. So Justin Fields having that ability to run is going to help. He's got weapons. It's not just, of course, Allen Robinson. I mean, you have to look at, Darnell Mooney. I think that's somebody that they feel really good about, and they should. But, that's how I look at it. I don't know why you would start Andy Dalton. I mean, if you're going to not start Justin Fields week 1 of your season and you're going to wait till week 2, Fields is going to see what you're doing. He's going to see, they don't want me to play against the Rams. They don't think I can handle it. This is a competitor. He's not going to thank you for that. He's going to be pissed off. He's going to want to play. So this competitor here, there's no way in hell that he would be okay with that for that reason. Like, if they were like, all right, we're going to redshirt you, I think he'd understand that more than just holding him out of week 1 and then putting him in week 2. Because he'd understand. He'd see what was happening. And Justin Fields is a freaking competitor. That Ohio State team, he helped. Him and Trey Sermon carried that team down the stretch. And they beat Clemson because of it. And he got a really bad back injury in the Clemson game. Played in the Alabama national title game, was not the same, but he played through that pain. This is a competitor. This is somebody that really does want to have an opportunity, and that's why I really love Justin Fields. He just has the intangibles, the things that you can't measure, in a player, and that's a key component. And so if the Bears are going to roll with Andy Dalton, then they're just admitting that this season is a lost season. I mean, that's just what it is. Smack that like button. Appreciate you, Nolan. Please do. Good point about TB. Thank you. Do the Rams even have any cap space to sign free agents? Not really a ton. It would have to be like a veteran minimum deal or close to veteran minimum. Should they start Tutu in preseason? Absolutely. Don't start I wouldn't even start Van Jefferson. Here's what I do, okay? Starting is not even going to be John Wolford. I know I have a backup in John Wolford. Why waste any snaps? Why worry about injuring him? I feel for the first time in a long time, I feel super comfortable in my backup quarterback. There's no way, right? They were going to roll with him over Goff if they couldn't, trade Jared Goff. So there's no way that they should throw him in there. However, there's a really nice QB3 battle, which could, end on the practice squad, and maybe both of them make it. But there's a good QB3 battle between a guy that has a dynamic ability as a dual threat quarterback in Bryce Perkins. And then there's another guy by the name of Devlin Hodges who started 8 games in the league. And he's trying to get back to that level. And so I want to see both those guys play. I want to see one guy get a half and the other guy get a half. And the starting receivers should be Tutu Atwell, Ben Skoranek on the outside, tight end, Bryson Hopkins, Jacob Harris, I want to see him. Running back should be Xavier Jones. But if you're already comfortable, you got to play Xavier Jones. So Xavier Jones would be the guy. And then offensive line, I think at left tackle, I'm going to play Tremaine Ankrum. Left guard, I'm going to play Chandler Brewer. At center, I'm going to play Brian Allen. At right guard, I'm going to play Joseph Noteboom. And right tackle, At right guard, I'm going to play what's his face? Coleman Shelton. At right tackle, I'm going to play Joseph Noteboom. Then on the defensive side, I'm probably going to start a defensive line of Eric Banks, Marquise Copeland, and Bobby Brown. Or no, I'll go with Greg Gaines, Bobby Brown, and Eric Banks. Outside linebackers, that's tough. You don't really truly have a starter except for Leonard Floyd, like a true starter. So you could argue you playing Terrell Lewis on one side and you're playing Justin Hollins or Obanai Okoronkwo on the other. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that and you feel like you're fine with that rotation, then by all means, I'm playing Maximilian Roberts on one side and Chris Garrett on the other. Justin Lawler's still on the roster. I don't know how. The dude is literally in the famous photo of Greg Zuerlein kicking the game-winning field goal against the Saints to send them to the Super Bowl. I mean, he was on that team. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. Maybe he gets a run. But that's what I would do if those three, the big three, if they don't play and they're being rested because they're considered a starting rotation, then I'm playing Roberts on one side and Chris Garrett on the other. Then you look at the inside backer position. Well, Micah Kaiser's already shown that he can start. Troy Reeder's already shown that he can start. I haven't seen enough of Travin Howard if I'm the Rams. And I know the injuries are bad, but I'm going to give him the opportunity to get these reps that he doesn't have, that he hasn't had. So Travin Howard I'm probably starting, and I'm probably starting Ernest Jones. So I'm going to just start my inside backers, and I'm going to roll with that. And then after those guys, then I'll probably switch to, a combination of, maybe Christian Roseboom and Jake Gervais. So what do we do at corner? Well, you're not going to start Jalen Ramsey and Darius Williams, right? So corner position is going to be Robert Rochelle on one side, David Long on the other, and then you're going to have Dante Dion as the slot, or maybe you have him ahead of David Long like I do, so maybe you play him on the outside. You give him an opportunity, and you play David Long at nickel. Or if David Long's already won the job, and you're going to play Rochelle. So if David Long's already won the job, then it's between Dion and Rochelle. So they're going to play on the outside. And nickel will actually be swapped between, a guy like Bronte Harris from UAB or Kareem Orr. So those would be those guys, and Dion Lake as well from BYU. At safety, well, you're not going to play Jordan Fuller. You don't need to play Taylor Rapp. You could argue you'd like to see more of Terrell Burgess, but he's played NFL games before. He was in the Buffalo game. He was in the Bears game. I mean, he played on special teams. So could I not make the argument that maybe you don't play Terrell Burgess, you don't play Fuller, you don't play Rapp, hell, you don't even play Nick Scott. Those are your four. Why ruin that, right? Nick Scott might want to start because he doesn't get an opportunity to start during the season. But if Nick Scott's going to have that role I think he might have, then I'll tell you right now, I'm not playing Nick Scott in preseason. So what's next? Well, I'll tell you. You have Paris Ford. You have Jovan Grant. You have Juju Hughes. You have J.R. Reed. You have Fred Warner's brother, Troy Warner. You have them all battle it out. I don't know necessarily who would start. I mean, I'd probably start Jovan Grant at free safety. And then strong safety, I would probably start J.R. Reed. But I could see them going with Paris Ford. I mean, so that would be that. And then kicker would be Austin McGinnis. Punter would be Corey Boriquez. And that's that. They are super deep. Absolutely Red State Rams. 100%. The Rams are super deep. So that, I don't remember how, let's see. That all started because Henry asked me, should they start Tutu in preseason? And I gave you a full starting lineup in preseason. I have a problem. I'm sorry. Oh, man, that's funny. Jeez. I don't know, man. This is why I love this. Thought-provoking questions. You guys get me going. You're the catalyst to my behavior on stream, and we're over 50 now, so this is freaking awesome. Okay, so Jacob Harris, I definitely think will be a way better version of Mike Evans. Go Rams. McCoy, Mike Evans is a pretty damn good receiver, probably top 10. So that's lofty praise there. Are you concerned about a guy like Leonard Floyd after getting paid and Staley leaving? I don't know if Donald will be able to make him great if Khalil Mack couldn't. Kids meals, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Leonard Floyd just had his best season with Aaron Donald. You could argue that, Staley had a reason for that, but at the same time, I think Leonard Floyd, there are things that I noticed with Leonard Floyd's game, like he got better. He improved in certain areas. I don't think it was a fluke. I think he legitimately became a better pass rusher. He was always a really good run defender, and now I think he's probably the best in the league as an outside linebacker, at least one of them. But what I'll say is that his pass rushing maneuvers, they expanded, and that was because he was in the same room as Aaron Donald, who was teaching everyone the jump chop, and now you see him using it. He was not using it with Chicago, so this is what I'm talking about. Aaron Donald just doesn't just make players better by what he does in the game, how he opens up things, because that does make them better. It makes them more productive. But what he does on top of that is that he gets them in that room and he teaches them. You watch him going through his motions and his jump chop, he got everyone doing it. Morgan Fox was doing it. Michael Brockers was doing that. When the hell was anyone doing that before Aaron Donald learned the jump chop? No one. I don't think I saw a single soul using that jump chop move as a pass rusher until Aaron Donald learned it. And since, he's just been a freak. He's always been a freak, but he just continues to learn and change the way things are done. And that's the thing, is that he's teaching other guys to do the things that he's doing. So, I mean, this guy can teach. That's something, man. That's something I'm definitely looking at. Okay, so I always thought Belichick was most responsible for the dynasty with defense. Now we have Staley in LA. I don't know what you mean by that. Old man ghost. I don't think Staley would be responsible for a dynasty with the Rams, but, I think it'd be McVay, but I kind of get what you're saying. Do you think I can't even talk. Do you think Otis Anderson Jr. could possibly be better than Darrell Henderson? I do not, Paul. I think he could offer some upside, a little bit as a scat back, but Henderson's legit. Henderson's not just a backup. I've said that so many times. He's on the same tier as Cam Akers until Cam Akers takes that next level. Because Darrell Henderson's a damn good running back. They got him in the 3rd round. They traded up to get him. Like, he's legit. Very well said. I'm confident and scared as well. Always Rams house. Thank you. I would love if they started Andy Dalton against us personally. LOL. What's up, AZZA? How we doing? Especially on Sunday Night Football, because Dalton chokes on big night games. Trust me, I live in Cincinnati. Go Big Wit, number 77. Love it. I'm here. What did I miss? Shindanu, you missed a lot. You missed, I don't remember everything that I talked about, so maybe you didn't miss a ton. Don't worry, guys. If you ever miss any of the live stream, I'm going to package these in 3 different clips every single time I go live. So I will be reposting that. You will get all access to that. I think that's easier for people that don't like to sit here for, an hour and a half chilling with me, because there's a ton of people that do. There's a ton of people that don't. I have almost 6,000 subs. We have 52 people in here right now. So, not 52. We have 56, including Facebook and Twitch. So to just assume that everybody wants to watch my live streams, or to just assume that everybody doesn't want to watch my live streams, would just be ignorant on my part. So I break it up into content that everybody can enjoy. People like short content, great. I'll have those short clips for you. People like long form content, I'll have these long live streams. My God, I need to learn how to talk before the season starts. I'm just messing. But yeah, that's how I'm gonna do that. So don't worry if you missed anything, Shindanu. That's how I'm gonna do that. You'll be able to see it. And plus, this posts anyway, so even if you don't want to wait until I cut them up into clips, then you can always check it out. But anyway, Bronte putting in that work. Dak Prescott, LOL. Rams are super deep. They are. We're as stacked as can be. Go Rams. Whoever is going to be the green dot needs to start the whole preseason. That, I believe, is going to be Ernest Jones, but we will see. Just glad to have a preseason this year. Totally agree. But according to the comment section analysts, they lost the depth when Ibukam left. LOL. Jacob Harris will have 4 touchdowns this year. Book it. I could see that. Wow, Mike Evans. Wow, I don't know what to do with that take. Henry Ford, Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn did it. AD perfected it. Jump chop. Shout out to Quinn. So, yeah, Robert Quinn had... Yeah, exactly. I think AD perfected it. I vaguely remember now that you said that it was Robert Quinn. But this is what I'm talking about, is that his, AD's coaching is infectious. He has everybody on the team doing all of a sudden something. I mean, that's legit, Remember when Aaron Donald was drafted, his size means he can be bullied around by bigger linemen. And if he gets jammed up, his legs aren't long enough to work his way out of trouble. LOL. It was so stupid. It's so stupid. Going back and looking at that, it's just a tried and true sign that you are over-analyzing. You're over-scouting, and you're over-evaluating. I saw everything with Aaron Donald. I saw, well, he plays in the ACC. Who gives a flying... I don't care if the dude played in D3. He is unbelievable. And on top of that, if you guys like that are all like size matters and everything, and you didn't listen to Emery Hunt, my guy that, the czar of the playbook, football game plan, as he always says, size is not a skill. But Aaron Donald, I'll tell you this right now, he used that to his advantage. Did you ever realize, did it ever occur to you, people that hated on Donald because of his size, did it ever occur to you that maybe that's an advantage to him? He's an unprecedented player. I mean, not entirely, but yes, almost entirely. He's built like he's Geno Atkins mixed with Warren Sapp, but he's got the ultra-athletic ability of a freaking linebacker. It's like having Myles Garrett as their defensive tackle. I mean, that's insane. And you're going to let him fall to 13 to the Rams, who already had Michael Brockers, Robert Quinn, Chris Long? Really? I'm just saying. Kendall Langford, I believe. Just nuts. So the argument that I would make for Donald and why he's succeeded so well, I mean, obviously his work ethic's off the charts, but it's what everyone missed. How having a 6-foot, 280-pound defensive tackle changes the perspective on how to block him. You can't just body him. He will use your leverage against you. That's what he does. He contorts his body. I will never forget, as long as I live, when Matt Miller was with Bleacher Report and he did a video breakdown of each pick. And Matt Miller said he's like a ninja with his hand usage. He's constantly chopping away. Exactly. Aaron Donald uses every square inch, every morsel of every fiber of his being to dominate his opponent. And that's what makes him the best. So not only do you have that crazy work ethic, but on top of that, you have a guy that can literally contort his body in all sorts of ways so he can get through the offensive line and crash the backfield and be a total game wrecker. That's what Aaron Donald is. And then, I remember Carl Davis comes out of, I think, Iowa, and people are like, man, Carl Davis has some Aaron Donald to him. No, he doesn't. Nothing against Carl Davis, but, I honestly feel bad for Carl Davis. So now, all of a sudden, he has to live up to the Aaron Donald hype that you just created out of thin air. Come on, man. Another guy. You guys remember Sheldon Rankins? Sheldon Rankins is the next Aaron Donald. Wait, you come from Louisville? Sheldon Rankins. It's like, Aaron Donald isn't he is not a clonable player. He is a once-in-a-generation prospect. And anyone that missed on him doesn't need to, cry to the heavens that they missed on him. They need to take what what we learned from this. Size is not a skill, which we already know, we should know. And that Aaron Donald basically told everyone that shorter defensive tackles, stockier defensive tackles that are quicker, that aren't as strong, can actually do more damage. And so that was him, his hand usage, his ability to get skinny, all that. I mean, there are guys like that are poor man's Aaron Donalds, guys that do the same things but just not as well, like Geno Atkins, Grady Jarrett, stockier guys, not quite as quick as Aaron Donald, not as fast. But, Aaron Donald is going to get a certain group, a certain archetype of player to start playing this position. He's going to inspire youth. You don't even know right now how many kids out there are like in 7th grade or 9th grade, and they're growing up as pass rushing defensive linemen, and they want to be like Aaron Donald. This is what happens. Aaron Donald is influencing the youth of today to basically be as hardworking as he is, and on top of that, utilize the things that are considered a weakness and use it to your advantage. So that's what I'll say on that, because I just think it's so funny to me how, there's like, I mean, you sent me you dropped the quote, Red State Rams. I mean, man, I just laugh. And like, I get stuff wrong all the time. But it was like they were forcing things. They were nitpicking just so they could be right about Aaron Donald being too short for the NFL. It was like the dumbest thing I'd ever seen. And the thing that's really weird to me is I know Odell Beckham Jr. ended up turning into a star, but the Giants had just lost Linval Joseph in free agency, who was a stud defensive lineman. They lost him to Minnesota. So I thought for sure that they were going to pick Aaron Donald. I don't know to this day how they didn't pick Aaron Donald, but I'm glad they didn't, because, man, that's my TED Talk on Aaron Donald. This is probably a stupid comment, but Darrell Henderson has gained noticeable weight over the past few years. Could that hinder his play, considering the style he runs the ball? No, I honestly think it could help him. I think maybe he wanted to be more filled out, be able to break tackles, and, it makes sense. I definitely think that could be the case. I would not mind him putting on pounds as long as, it's muscle. We really need Rodgers to play for the sake of having some kind of conference balance. That's true. Oh man, that Ainge like organic goat milk. Ew. Play for Green Bay. Jesus, imagine if he got traded to Denver. They win the AFC and probably go to the Super Bowl. I saw him tackle the quarterback and the running back to make sure he got the man with the ball. Oh yeah, Red State. That was the Duke game. I watched that. That hit was crazy, 100%. The man tossed Zeke and Dak on national TV. Oh, that was amazing. Run on, that's okay. I appreciated you explaining on the West matchups. Absolutely. Henderson and Akers are the best running back duo in the NFC West. Yeah, I mean, I would take Henderson and Akers over Chase Edmonds and James Conner. I know they've done more in their careers so far, but I really like Edmonds. James Conner worries me with all the injuries that he's had. I really like him. He's battled cancer. I was a huge fan of him coming out of Pitt, but let's just call it like it is. I mean, he's had a hard time staying healthy. So, yeah, Henderson and Akers, I think, have the potential to be the best duo in the NFC West. But definitely, if Raheem Mostert can stay healthy with Trey Sermon, that is going to be a very lethal backfield. As far as Seattle, man, I'm just not really fond of Rashad Penny. I don't think that they have a ton of great running backs. So to me, it's the Chris Carson show. So I do think it's between the Rams and the 49ers and the Cardinals. And I'd probably say they're ahead of the Cardinals, and the 49ers are like right there. If Mostert stays healthy, then Trey Sermon, that's gonna be a big time duo. Staley is not Rams. What do you think the Rams' floor and ceiling for postseason success is? Their floor is the NFC title game, and their ceiling is it's the Super Bowl. So that's what I would say. Just looking for the next dynasty. Oh, I got you. I mean, I think the Rams could be a dynasty if they keep this in mind. Stafford's not super old. I mean, you can look at, the all-time passing leader. Stafford is about, like I said earlier, I mean, he's going to be around 11th in everything at the end of the year if everything goes according to plan. So, I mean, he's really not that old. He's like 33. There are other guys that are way ahead of him. I mean, Ben, I think, is 40 now or close to it. So if Stafford wanted to play another 10 years, or not 10, but, another 7 years, 5 to 7, I mean, I'm sure he could. And that would be huge. Let's see here. David Messias, what's up? On Facebook, but TJ Watt is better, right? LOL, no idea why those people try to compare those two people. Yeah, you just can't compare the two. They play completely different positions. Watt wouldn't be able to do what Donald does, and Donald would be able to do what Watt does. Because Watt cannot play interior like that. He'd get eaten up. He's just not built enough for that. But I mean, I think Donald is a better player, obviously. But I don't like comparing defensive interior linemen to edge defenders. I don't like that at all. Their jobs are completely different. So, yeah, I agree with you. Looking forward to watching all of our guys compete in preseason. Paris Ford looks like a keeper. I'm just not really as high on Paris Ford, but I see a lot of fans seem to like him. So, we'll see. Thoughts on Derek Carr? I think Derek Carr's a good quarterback, but the problem is Derek Carr lacks a strong arm, and I think it hurts the Raiders in what they want to do, or what they wanted to do last year with Henry Ruggs. So we'll see with Derek Carr, but I don't think Derek Carr wins you a Super Bowl if you don't have the pieces. The 49ers, if they went and got Derek Carr instead of trading up to get Lance, that is really interesting to me, because if they got Derek Carr with that offense, that seems like a perfect offense for him, short, intermediate, West Coast style, modified. That might have been the recipe for a Super Bowl. Not saying they would beat the Rams, but they would have been a contender for sure. With Lance, I mean, it's up in the air because he's a rookie, but, long term, I think he's a much better quarterback than Carr. But yeah. Let's see here. Hendo is going to eat. Yes, he is, Nolan. Rams will go 17-3, win Super Bowl. Losses to Vikings, Ravens, and 49ers, just because we always seem to split with Shanahan. Interesting. I have, 15-2. So they would be, if they go 15-2, they're going to win the conference. So they'd play 2 games and then the Super Bowl, right? Or 1 game? No, 2 games. Divisional, championship, Super Bowl. So I have them going 18-2. I don't even know how people think they could compare Watt and Donald to begin with, when Donald is the best player in the league and Watt isn't even the best edge. Good point. I think Watt's arguably the best edge, but, you could say Myles Garrett. Who do I have as the best edge? Now I'm really curious. Okay, I have TJ Watt as the best edge right now. I have TJ Watt, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Chase Young, Myles Garrett, Brian Burns, Nick Bosa, DeMarcus Lawrence, Cameron Jordan, Shaquille Barrett, Donnell Hunter, Von Miller, and J.J. Watt. Let's see here. Hoping the next dynasty is Rams. Can't wait for the season. You and me both, brother. Did you all see the dude earlier on Twitter who said Aaron Donald's overrated compared to TJ Watt? I don't... What? I mean, I don't give people like that, a second, because it's like that's a recipe to get engagement. Like that dude probably made followers and stuff. Like when you don't have an avenue to gain a lot of followers, people will make bad takes on purpose, even if they don't believe in it, because it gets people riled up. And then all of a sudden it has 1,000 retweets. And this person all of a sudden is able to, put underneath that 1,000 retweets or whatever, put in a thread, an affiliate marketing link, and then they make money off it. That's how that stuff works. You see it all the time. That's why I've stopped bothering with it. People will turn on Ford when they see him headhunting and getting flagged. Well, that's true too. The age criticism on Stafford feels like a reach since Russ is the same age. It always did. Media loves stroking the Seahawks' ego. That's also true. Yep, Crayon Eater confirmed. AD has leverage, of course. Yes. James Hill, new subscriber and big-time Rams fan. Love everything you just said. Welcome to the Jake Ellenbogen community. James, I'm going to assume since you're a new subscriber, you have not joined the Discord channel. Everyone make sure, if you haven't already, and I have about 51 people in here right now. That's the thing earlier. Hold on a second. I will get that link. We have 268 people and counting in the Discord channel. It is a nonstop community. So definitely go hit that up if you want to talk about Rams, NFL, NFL Draft, MCU, any sort of sport, horror movies, what have you. It is a channel that I've basically combined with Downtown Rams community and my community here on the channel. So definitely make sure you join that. Thank you. Yes, hit the like button. It does help with the algos. I have 38 likes. I have 54 of you in here on YouTube. Please, if you can, hit the like. It really does help. I'm not just saying that, but it really does. Now it looks like we have 59. Did we go over 60 at any point? I don't feel like we did, but that's really dope that we're almost headed there. This has been a crazy live stream, not going to lie. We started at, 9? Not bad. Not bad. Nearly 2 hours. We have 58 people in here. I'm learning how to, sit back and relax somewhat. The media likes the Seahawks in 2021. Yeah, for whatever reason, Trevor, I don't know if you saw, but Keyshawn Johnson, I made a video about it. He has the Seahawks winning the division, the 49ers coming in second. I don't understand because his reasoning was saying the Rams have a completely new defense, which isn't true. So I don't know. Would Fletcher Cox rate as a top 5 defensive tackle for you, Jake? Yeah, let's see. I have Fletcher Cox. No. So my top defensive tackles, I have Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, DeForest Buckner, Cameron Hayward, and Grady Jarrett. That's my top 5. Quinnen Williams at 6, Fletcher Cox at 7, Leonard Williams at 8, Kenny Clark at 9, Poona Ford at 10. Super high on Poona Ford, from Texas, undrafted free. I don't know how he went undrafted, but Seahawks got an absolute steal in Poona Ford. So, he's somebody you definitely you have to keep an eye on. Once again, he's like 5'11", because again, size is not a skill, and so guys like that, they make things happen. Good question though. Fletcher Cox just missed my top 10. You have JJ for that far down the list? Yeah. Wondering if our players will have the right to choose when it comes to the vax. Looks like college athletes are going to be forced. It looks like the NFL players are, they have their they have their right to choose, but I mean, it's a sticky topic, so I'm not going to get too much into it. Just want to keep the, it shouldn't be political, but a vaccine has become political. So, I mean, I'm not going to further elaborate on it. If you guys know me, you know that I'm vaccinated. Not that it's really a huge deal, to announce it. I mean, I get obviously getting it. But yeah, I think I put it on Twitter. So, but yeah, good question though. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to get too into it because, with the whole Vax thing, but yeah. The Jair Jalen argument frustrates me. All the Jair fans say PFF grade interceptions, but don't look at the competition. Ramsey covered 8 All-Pros versus Jair 2 All-Pros. I'll be honest with you, love Jalen Ramsey and I love Jair Alexander. I told everyone Jair Alexander was the best corner in the draft. He was my number 1 corner. Some people were saying it was the guy that they got in the second round in Josh Jackson. There are all sorts of people saying Jair's injuries were going to catch up with him and he wasn't that good, yada, yada. He was my 3rd overall player. Very, very high on him. So I'm not surprised to see what he's doing. I loved him as a prospect. I love his game. He's great. He's actually, where is he on my list? I think he's 2 or 3. Yeah, he's 2, and then I have Marlon Humphrey as my 3rd corner. He's one of my absolute favorite players. I love Marlon Humphrey, man. Fun fact, Marlon Humphrey forced 8 fumbles last year. I bet you didn't know that. 8 fumbles as a corner. I mean, that's insane. I don't even, how many fumbles did Robert Quinn force the year he had 18.5 sacks? It was 9, right? So, I mean, he almost forced as many fumbles as Robert Quinn forced, and Robert Quinn had every opportunity to hit the quarterback behind because he was rushing around. Whereas Marlon Humphrey created contact, and he mastered the peanut punch. Dude is a freak, man. I love him. Would love to get him on. I reached out, actually, to get him on the show. Big fan of Marlon Humphrey. One of my absolute favorite players in football. Let's see. Smash that like button, everyone. Yes, please smash the like button. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Prediction for Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go with Aaron Donald. I just don't see how, unless he gets Belichicked and can't win the award because it's so obvious, then, fine. But I can't pick against him. He's the best player in football. I think the question is, could he honestly be the MVP? And when you look at the Rams' defense last year in the Packers game, immediately they didn't look the same against Aaron Rodgers with Donald hurt. After the whole year, them being the number 1 defense, doesn't that kind of tell you that Aaron Donald was the MVP? It's a little scary, if you ask me, the fact that their defense kind of fell apart without him. But could I not make the argument that's an MVP right there? I mean, come on. So, yeah, that's always interesting. Good question, Sebastian. At this point, all this media and shaming the Rams just adds fuel to the Rams' house. Yeah, and it gives me content. It gives me crayon eaters to talk about. No, I'm kidding. I just had to steal one out of Nolan's playbook. But, no, it does give me content, though. And, I like that. Seahawks are the only team who got worse in the West. They added an average O-lineman. Their secondary, which was already 31st, got worse. Yes, that's true. I will say they got a Kilo Witherspoon. And if you guys weren't paying attention last year on film, Kilo Witherspoon caught his stride. He finally found it. Last year, he was one of the better corners in football that no one talked about. It was surprising to see the Niners let him go, none other than to Seattle. But that's where he ended up going. So that's interesting. They also, they draft in the second round. They draft Marquise Blair out of Utah. He started ahead of Terrell Burgess, for those of you who don't know. So I think that's definitely intriguing there. I'm pretty sure, they still have Diggs, of course. They have Quandre Diggs, and they still have, they got Jamal Adams. So they have those 3 safeties there. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I really don't. But I still think Seattle comes in 4th. But maybe their defense isn't horrible, but I don't think it'll be great. I don't look at the Seattle team and this team is amazing, like some people. I don't know. Yeah, it sucks. The Packers fans are being so absurd about Jair. I loved him coming out so much, but I'm starting to dislike him just because of the takes people have now. I get that. I mean, I love Jair, so that's not going to change. Just such a huge fan of his game, but I can understand why that would be annoying. KJ was wearing a 49ers jersey shirt during that show, so he may be biased a bit. That's an interesting point. Keyshawn really said the defense had 10 new guys and Wade Phillips is gone. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Careful, it's YouTube. I was short on the line and the one chasing the quarterback in the backfield. My bad. I've been hanging out on Odyssey a lot. He was about 2 years late. Marcus Spears' reaction was great. That rhymed. Any luck on being able to interview TG? What questions would you like to ask him? So TG hasn't gotten back to me. I basically just have a conversation with him. I thank him first off for, taking a picture with me back in 2017. That would be my first thing. But then, I would ask him about the Rams, try to, find out a little bit about what happened. Not poke and prod too much. I don't want to ruin anybody, but, I'd ask him a little bit about what happened. And, I'd tell him, like, you do realize, you were probably a season away from being the all-time touchdown leader for the LA Rams, or for the Rams franchise going back to Cleveland, And I think I'd just have some, fun discussion with him. I would love to get him on. And I want to get Ramsey on, too. Ramsey loves to talk, so I'd love to have him on. Let's see here. And he's the best corner in the league. Okay, so, great question, by the way. I hope you end up getting Ramsey on the show. That would be crazy. Yeah, it would. Yes, sir. Expose expose the crayon eaters. Man, I just read expose, and I just assumed it was expose because I've heard that multiple times within the last few days. Still a little confused. Were those leaked white jerseys confirmed? And if not, do you still think it will be Sol? I was told by a source it was Sol. The source could absolutely be wrong, but I was told by a source it was Sol. And I also saw that the white jerseys aren't confirmed. And, now it's up in the air, so we'll see. Thoughts on the Rams jerseys? If it's white, I'm not really into it. TG would be dope. Ramsey too, absolutely, Nolan. I want to get more people on here. I mean, it's that simple, I want to expose you guys to newer faces, if I can do that. And I want to get, Rams on here. I've interviewed a bunch of Rams. I've interviewed Reeder. I've interviewed Burgess. I've interviewed Ankrum with Alexis Kraft, my co-host, So it would be cool to get them on because I had Kyle Sloter earlier in the year. I had Blake Cashman. So I had potentially a starting linebacker for the Jets. Kyle Sloter, who's been like a preseason god. I wish somebody would give him a chance at quarterback. So we'll see what we can do. But I do want to continue to upgrade this show. And I do think we're going to be spending some time at the studio during the year. So, we'll have, because I know the Rams helmet's dope and having that setup's dope, but it's so much easier to stream at my house because I've set it up so it's easy. Need to get a live stream from open practice days during training camp. Yeah, about that, Red State Rams fan. I actually live in New York, so I will not be at any of those, unfortunately. But I live in upstate New York. Man, what is up with the jerseys? Gotta say, Kevin Demoff has to be gone. I don't know about the jerseys, man. I know nothing. Who would you rather have for a franchise quarterback, Baker Mayfield or Matthew Stafford? Matthew Stafford, for sure. Not a Rams player, but Jordan Rodriguez, another one. Oh, yeah. She's a friend of ours, so she will be back as well. We're always trying to update. We're trying to get more and more people. That was annoying. There's like a strand of like, it's not hair, but it's like, I don't know what it is. Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna try to get more guests on here. We're gonna try to get more guests on DTR, If you guys have any guest requests, you can do that. Also, if you guys aren't following, be sure to follow me on Twitter at JKBogan. So I also will follow you back too. So let me know if you followed me on Twitter during this stream, and I will follow you back. Let's see here. What was I gonna say? Oh, we got some people. Yeah, our follower count's going up. Damn. Aaronell, the long shot, but worth a try. Yeah, I think Alexis would lose her mind if we got Aaron Donald on here. Darius Williams. Could try to make that happen. I'm very grateful that we got Stafford, but don't you also wish Wolford had the opportunity to lead and see his development? Yeah, I mean, I love Wolford, but I've actually loved Stafford for years. So it's a dream come true to see a quarterback that I've seen just kind of wither away in Detroit and get an opportunity with a good football team. I mean, I love the NFL. I don't love everything the league does, and I do think that they neglect the history so much so that okay, here's what I'm going to do. This is going to be a clip. Are you ready? I'm about to rant, okay? Why is it? Think about this, okay? I'm going to have to get out of my position here and sit up and everything, but here's the thing, okay? Think about this. Here's some thought-provoking for you. Thank you, Old Man Ghost. You take care. Thought-provoking stuff for you. Ready? Why is it that baseball preserves their history so much better than the NFL? The Baseball Hall of Fame is done the right way. I mean, recently no one got in. That was dumb. And they're a little tough, but like it always, people that get in the Baseball Hall of Fame, like it's a no-brainer, right? Baseball here, okay, so here's the thing, okay? So baseball has all the stats. Batting average, home runs, RBI, stolen bases, hits, walks, strikeouts, whip, ERA. All of it. Total bases. They have sabermetrics. Dating back years. Dating back as far as to the 1800s. So why in God's creation does the NFL not keep track of those stats? Why on God's green earth is Deacon Jones, his sack total's unofficial at 173 and a half sacks? I don't understand that. Why is that the case? Why? And this whole it's they haven't gone through. Go through it. This huge company. The NFL is a huge league. It's a huge business. You mean to tell me they don't have the funds allocated to bring a task force to go back? They have the archive that they're holding away from us so we can never see those games for some reason. Like offered on Game Pass, bro. It's like another opportunity for more money. But like legitimately, the NFL can't bring they can't bring in a task force to come in and collect all the data that we don't have from those games when they have access to all those tapes. They have an archive they have everything. We know how many freaking home runs Babe Ruth hit, but we're unofficial on Deacon Jones's sack total, and he created the freaking sack. Furthermore, and this is something that drives me mad. Like it's insane. So the Rams, so we'll do like Ram stats, right? So I'm going to go to Pro Football Reference, and I'm going to go to, where is it? All-time franchise encyclopedia, and I'm going to go to all-time stats. And it's crazy to me. So the Rams, okay, here it is. It's just, it is unreal. So the career leaders, let's see defense. Because offense, everything's great, right? Offense, everything's great. We have touchdowns, we have receiving yards, we have carries, we have receptions, we have passing touchdowns, we have passing yards, we have completions, we have, I already said that once, I think, and we have attempts. So why the hell is the defense so neglected? And before you tell me it's not, I'll just show you right now, okay? Quarterback hits was not recorded until 2006. That stat has only been around since 2006. So when I posted that Aaron Donald is the Rams' all-time leader in quarterback hits with 201, and people are like, there's no way, because there's like Deacon Jones and like Merlin Olsen. I'm sorry, but the NFL decided we're not going to count quarterback hits until 2006. And we're also going to be too lazy to go back in time and get a task force together and collect the data. I'm not done. Oh, let's look at TFLs. You do realize 95% of games from 1999 to 2007 have recorded tackles for losses, right? But what's insane is that it wasn't fully recorded until 2008. This is a relatively new stat. Like, what the hell? Oh, we're not done. This is cool. So, tackles before 1994, unofficial and inconsistently recorded from team to team for amusement only. 1994 to now, unofficial but consistently recorded. So we legitimately haven't recorded tackles all that time. And 1994 is when we decided, oh yeah, tackle makes sense. That makes sense to be a stat. Okay, let's get to the sack. Sacks, official stat since 1982 based on play-to-play, game film, and other research since 1960. So the sack wasn't even created until 1982. You didn't have a stat for what happens when a defensive lineman or somebody on the defense tackles a quarterback behind the line of scrimmage when they're trying to throw the football. You didn't have that stat. You didn't even have a tackle. What the hell? So defensive players, like, no one had ever occurred to the NFL, like, oh, well, the offensive players get all the statistics and everything. But yeah, the defensive players don't get that. Okay, well, let's go on. Fumbles. Available for player games since 1994. What? Oh, fumble recoveries. Like, I just don't understand. Like, oh, this one's funny. So, pass breakups. You know, when your defensive back swats a ball down. Pass breakups. Yeah, do you know when they started? Do you know when the NFL started keeping track of them? The NFL started keeping track of them in 1999. Trumaine Johnson is the all-time Rams pass breakup leader in franchise history with 67, followed by Ron Bartell with 60. Coming in at second place, Dexter McCleon at 55, Dre Bly had 49, Janoris Jenkins had 48. Fakir Brown is in the top 10. Like, bro, we don't even have pass breakups. Like, we don't have that. Yeah, tipped passes, pass defense. They weren't, like, I just found this out yesterday, so I'm letting you guys know, like, this is 1999. This is nuts. Like, this is absolutely nuts. So, that is my biggest argument. Because everything is, like, unofficial for all those players back then. So what ends up happening here is the BS that comes with it. So you have a guy by the name of Coy Bacon, who, by the way, played for the Rams with the Fearsome Foursome. He doesn't get credit, but Lamar Lundy gets credit for playing with the Rams in the Fearsome Foursome. Coy Bacon is literally sitting all time with an unofficial total of 130.5 sacks. He unofficially, some say he unofficially tied the Deacon Jones unofficial sack record at 26 in only 14 games. Guess what, guys? He ain't in the Hall of Fame. I mean, what? Furthermore, let's look at another guy that I made the argument for. And I haven't done the video yet. Oh, here's one. Lester Hayes. You know, the guy in 1980 had 13 interceptions. He had 39 for his career. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, 2-time Super Bowl champion, was part of a Hall of Fame 1980s roster. He was the 1980 AP Defensive Player of the Year. Well, his buddy that came after him, that played alongside him towards the end of his career with the Raiders, Mike Haynes, he's in the Hall of Fame. Well, what about Lester Hayes? Oh, well, Lester Hayes, man, he had stickum on his hands. He cheated. Like, as if any other receiver or corner didn't have stickum on their hands back then. Because that's a load of, But, dude, we don't even have pass breakups for these corners. Like, I don't know all time who leads the NFL all time in pass breakups. I'm not saying that's an end-all, be-all stat, but maybe that might help Lester Hayes and his resume to get in the Hall. I mean, let's bring up another guy. He's in the Hall of Fame. The other two are not. He's in the Hall of Fame. But here's a nitpick that I have, okay? You ready for this? Les Richter, Hall of Famer, 8-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro. Les Richter, drafted in the second round, the second overall pick in the 1952 NFL Draft by the Dallas Texans. The Rams traded 11 players to get Les Richter. Les Richter was a linebacker. He was a center. He was a field goal kicker. I mean, the dude did everything. Well, what's crazy enough is after the Rams traded for him, he was stationed in the Korean War for 2 years. No big deal, right? He comes back 1954, and he goes on a binge of going to the Pro Bowl 8 straight years in a row. Well, here's the thing. If you look, Les Richter does not have much of anything statistically. He has 16 interceptions. That's what's counted. He has no fumbles because they didn't count that. He has 12 fumble recoveries. He has 2.5 unofficial sacks, but they didn't count tackles, so he apparently never tackled anybody. But what's even better is that the Pro Football Hall of Fame dragged their feet for years, and then they decided, oh, well, Les Richter died in 2010, so let's put him in the Hall of Fame now. So again, I know I come off sounding like a whiny little kid, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, Coy Bacon's dead and not in the Hall of Fame. It's a joke. He's arguably, like, no one can change my mind. Coy Bacon is the most underrated defensive player in NFL history. No one can change my mind. The dude is just as good as any of the other guys and didn't get an opportunity. And that's a damn shame. And then Les Richter had to die in order to get in the Hall of Fame. Dude fought for a country too. Korean War. Forgotten war. Just like he was forgotten and left out of the Hall of Fame for years. And now, here we are with Lester Hayes, who's arguably one of the most physical cornerbacks, maybe the best bump and run corner ever, and he's not in the Hall of Fame because I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, that's pretty much all I got on that, because I just had to I get those things in my head, and man, it pisses me off, because I'm not a football historian, but I'm trying to be. I really get into this, the history of the sport. Keep in mind, I grew up as baseball being my favorite sport. I wanted to play baseball. I played it for over 13 years, what have you. I'm way more interested in football. The problem is, baseball, it's so easy to learn the history. And football, they wonder why when they put these all 100 teams together and it's a bunch of leather helmet guys, they wonder why people like us, 25-year-old Jake, 26-year-old Alan, 24-year-old Josh, that are into the game, that follow the game, they wonder why those people don't, like, there's blowback. They wonder why, like, this is what I don't get. Like, Les Richter was a baller, man. I don't understand it. Like, it took him until 2011, after retiring in 1962. He played the defense, the offense, and the special teams unit. And dude gets in with 8 Pro Bowls years later. Coy Bacon doesn't even get in. Like, what the hell? And then Roman Gabriel has 28 rushing touchdowns as a quarterback. He's the all-time touchdown leader for a quarterback in Rams history. If he played in today's era, like, he'd be doing what Ben Roethlisberger did. He was like that player. He's not in. He may never get in. Come on. But yeah, I'm sure some leather helmet guy will get in. We have no stats for. He played in 1805. I mean, like, come on, man. There's way too many guys out there. Dude, I don't even think LC Greenwood is in the Hall of Fame. I'm almost positive he's not. Let's check. LC Greenwood. No. I mean, why would he be in the Hall of Fame, right? Defensive end for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He played with them from 1969 to 1981. Like, why would he be in the Hall of Fame with 78 sacks? Oh, 6 Pro Bowls, 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Super Bowl champion. He was part of the Hall of Fame All-1970s team. What the hell? Why? What? Like, why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Like, I don't understand this. Like, this is what I don't get. What, like, how did these guys get in the Hall of Fame, and how did they not get in the Hall of Fame? What is the criteria? What are these voters missing on? Like, I'm not a Steelers fan. I'm a Rams fan. I was complaining about Coy Bacon, who didn't even play his entire career with the Rams. I was complaining about Roman Gabriel, who played with 2 different teams, mainly with the Rams. I mean, Lester Hayes played with the Raiders. I have no affinity for the Raiders. I don't care. But I hate seeing good players, very good players, Hall of Fame-worthy players, not in the Hall of Fame. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. LC Greenwood isn't in the Hall of Fame. Like, you have to be kidding me. I mean, it just like I don't know. It cracks me up, man. It totally cracks me up. I mean, I'm not saying he's a 100% Hall of Famer, but Kevin Carter has 104.5 sacks. All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion with the Rams. Like I said, I'm not saying, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but that's come and gone. He has over 100 sacks. Does that count for something? Or is he not going to make it? I mean, really, like, what's the criteria here? I need to know. I mean, man, I don't know. Edward Lee Jones. Too Tall Jones is in the Hall of Fame. Too Tall Jones at, 3-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, All-Pro. 106. He retired in 79, came out of retirement. He had 106 unofficial sacks. Nope, not a Hall of Famer. Ooh, let's look. Let's see here. Who's a good name? Simeon Rice isn't in the Hall of Fame. Dude has 122 sacks for his career. Like why is he not in the Hall of Fame? 3-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, AP Defensive Rookie of the Year, Super Bowl champion. No, Jack Snow's not in the Hall of Fame either. Robert, thank you for donating, man. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here. I just noticed that you donated. Thank you. Appreciate it. Guys, it's crazy. I could do a live stream just going through guys that should be in the Hall of Fame that aren't in the Hall of Fame. I mean, like, and dude, think about this, like running backs and like wide receivers. Like, I'm not saying he was like, the greatest running back ever, but Roger Craig isn't in the Hall of Fame. 73 touchdowns total. He had total scrimmage yards, 13,000 scrimmage yards. All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowl champion, part of the Hall of Fame team in the All-80s. Player of the Year. Nope, not a Hall of Famer. I mean, am I missing something there? Why is Roger Craig not in the Hall of Fame? It's crazy. Roman Gabriel should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame. He has a career record of 86, 64, and 7. He's got nearly 3,000 yards. He's got 3,000 total, over 3,000 total yards when you count his rushing. 229 total touchdowns, 149 interceptions. Keep in mind, this dude is he's a gunslinger from the 60s. He played until he was 37. He played 16 seasons in the NFL. Not a Hall of Famer. Why would he be? Oh, here's one. This is kind of interesting to me. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna say he 100% should be in over Roman Gabriel, but like, why is Ken Anderson not in the discussion? 4-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, MVP. I mean, he over 3,000 yards, 197 touchdowns. He ran for 20. Ran over 2,000 yards. So, I mean, Ken Anderson, Roman Gabriel. I mean, the wide receivers are hilarious because, like, Torrey Holt's not even in. Yeah, why would Torrey Holt be in? 7-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, Hall of Fame All-2000s team. 13,000 yards, 74 touchdowns, 920 receptions. Why would he be in the Hall of Fame? Why would he? Right? This is also like, here's another one. So this guy here is not in the Hall of Fame. It keeps, that's so annoying. So Del Schaffner is not in the Hall of Fame. He's got, this is insane, okay? So he actually played for the Rams. He wore number 29 for the Rams in the 50s. Well, the late 50s, early 60s. Then he played the rest of his career with the Giants. Here's what he did with the Rams, guys. In 1958, he's a 5-time Pro Bowler, a 5-time All-Pro, and he's part of the Hall of Fame All-60s team, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. In 1958, in his second season, he had 1,097 yards on 51 catches for 8 touchdowns. 1958, and he was a 1,000-yard receiver. Next year, 936 yards, 47 receptions, 7 touchdowns. The next year, I don't know what happened. He had 122 receptions, or 122 yards on 12 receptions. So, like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what the Rams did. But then he went to the Giants. He had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with the Giants. 11 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. Then he must have gotten hurt. But he finished his career 6,470 yards, 51 touchdowns, 349 receptions. At the time, that's incredible. So I don't know how Schaffner's not in. I mean, those are a lot of Pro Bowls and all pros, like 5 all pros. Like, come on now. Let's see who else. Henry Ellard. When he retired, I'm pretty sure he was like, he wasn't like the leader in receiving, but he was like one of the leaders in receiving. 13,000 yards, almost 14,000, 65 touchdowns. He had 17 with Washington. He had 48 with the Rams. How is he not in the Hall of Fame? There's a time with the Rams from 88 to 91, he had 4 straight seasons over 1,000 yards. He had a 1,400-yard season, a 1,300-yard, a 1,200-yard, and a 1,000-yard. Then his last years with the Rams, 92 and 93, 727, 945. Then he goes to Washington at age 33, comes down with nearly 1,400 yards. 34, he goes over 1,000. Age 35, he goes over 1,000. And that's the end of his career pretty much. But how is he not in the Hall of Fame? It's amazing to me. There's guys like Irving Fryer's not in the Hall of Fame. You know? Crazy. Jimmy Smith? Nope. You know, I'm not saying Jimmy Smith belongs in over Torrey Holt, but I'm saying that a lot of these guys have to get in, and it's crazy to me that they're not. It's nuts. Patrick Willis still isn't in. Zach Thomas still isn't in. Randy Gradishar, who was a linebacker for Denver from 74 to 83. We don't have tackles, so we can't quantify that because nice job. 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, AP Defensive Player of the Year. Not a Hall of Famer. Like, DeMarcus Ware, he retired in 2016, so he'll be available soon. Well, how about Larry Grantham? 5-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro at the New York Jets. From 1960 to 72, linebacker. Super Bowl champion, AFL champion. No Hall of Fame. I mean, like, what do we have to do here? Pat Swilling is with the Raiders, the Lions, and looks like the Saints 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, 1991 AP Player of the Year, and not a Hall of Famer. So, I don't know. I mean, Leroy Butler isn't even a Hall of Famer, by the way. Leroy Butler's not a Hall of Famer. Dave Grayson, not a Hall of Famer. Yeah, 4-time All-Pro. No big deal. I mean, him and Butler both have they're 4-time All-Pros. Rams legend and interception leader of all in franchise history, Eddie Meter, not a Hall of Famer, 6-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, part of the 1960s Hall of Fame team, but nope. No big deal. 46 interceptions, that's not a lot, right? I'm just, you look at it and you're like, what are we doing? Like, I'm like, dumbfounded, basically. So, yeah, I figured I'd throw those out there. Yeah, I mean, a ring's important, but how many people did I mention that had the ring, Pretty crazy, right? Whiny little kid, LOL. No, Jake, you are spot on about this. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I always wanted to say that, so I got to. Jake, this is great stuff. I got to go to bed. All right, later, Substance. I might have missed you there. Maybe the Hall of Fame class can create an unofficial records. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know who makes these decisions sometimes, but Coy and Roman belong in the Hall of Fame. I agree. I've been watching and rooting for the Rams for 50 years now, and it is shameful how a lot of these guys have been overlooked. Totally agree with that. Thinks Rams will be top 10 in both offense and defense this year. Yes, I think the Rams will be a number 1 offense and top 10 defense. Let's see. I agree they will both be near the top. That's why it cracks me up that experts don't even have them winning the West. That's true. Politics, that's why. Think all 4 West teams can make the playoffs this year. No, I think Seattle will miss it. I think Arizona could get in, though. Do you think Matthew Stafford will cement himself as a Hall of Famer during his tenure with the Rams? I do, because when you look, Matthew Stafford statistically and the recency bias, I think will get him in. But I think he's going to earn it as well. Tony Baselli, yeah, he doesn't get in. I don't know. Like, he's been waiting his turn. The offensive line, there's not a ton to go off of except for tape, but you don't have a lot of tape on these guys. I mean, let's be honest here. Jim, where is it? I'm trying to look here. Oh my God, stop. Okay, so Jim Tyrer is a 9-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro, a Super Bowl champion, and a 3-time AFL champion. But yeah, Jim, sorry, even though you played from 61 to 74 and you went to the Pro Bowl 9 times, you were an All-Pro 6 times, you're not a Hall of Famer. Sorry. Like, what? Bro, what? I mean, Baselli obviously deserves to get in. It's ridiculous at this point. Joe Jacoby, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, 3-time Super Bowl champion, not a Hall of Famer. It's, frustrating for sure. I mean, Baselli doesn't have the Pro Bowl. I mean, he doesn't have the Super Bowl, but, I think the thing with Baselli is that he retired early because he played from 23 to age 29. He played from 95 to 2001. So because he retired early, I do think he gets hit with that. But he's a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, and he was dominant. And he's on a Hall of Fame 1990s team. So I don't know, man. Like, the Hall of Fame is just weird. I just don't know. I mean, there are guys that just should be in and they're not, and it's like, what the hell are we doing here? So yeah, I guess that's all I can really say about that. But anyway, back to this. Alex Karras was elected in 2020. He was great in 1960s. He should have been put in when he was alive. That's another thing. They wait until they die, it seems like, which is not fair. Is Jack Snow in the Hall of Fame? He is not, Robert. Snow had a really good career. I understand if he's not in the Hall of Fame, but like there are a lot of guys that should be in that aren't. So it's ridiculous to me. In 1980, when our Rams lost to the Steelers, they were the last of all the virgin team in the NFL. No one on their team ever played for any other team. That's crazy. I did not know that. How many guys from back then do you actually think would be able to survive in the NFL now? I think a lot of guys. I mean, to be honest with you, some of those guys like Otto Graham, like people, they'll bring up Otto Graham and they'll be like, he would never last in today's league. I disagree. Like, look at Bob Waterfield for the Rams. That's why number 7 is retired. Bob Waterfield was like, Taysom Hill, So, I mean, he could arguably, he was a superstar. I mean, he could, I think a lot of guys would surprise you. Now, guys that wouldn't be able to survive in the NFL are like 230-pound offensive linemen. They would get their, they get destroyed, but that's obvious. Good question, though. Those guys ate hot dogs and drank beer during halftime, LOL. I would say that if they played the game today like they played back then, that would be how many today's players would survive. Cam Akers, 1,500 yards. I think I have him at a total of 1,500 that he would have. No Thomas or Willis makes me think how important a ring is. Don Robinson, I've been a Rams fan for 44 years, and those Henry Ellard numbers you just said are amazing, very similar to Torrey Holt. I totally agree with you. Does Lynn Swann numbers validate him as a Hall of Famer? No. Yeah, so he's a Hall of Famer, right? Lynn Swann got in, which is interesting. Okay, so let's see. Where is Lynn Swann here? So if you go by PFR, Pro Football Reference, their Hall of Fame monitor, Tommy McDonald has the lowest Hall of Fame monitor as a wide receiver. Played for the Rams, played for Philly, played for Dallas, played for Atlanta, and played for Cleveland. 57-68. His Hall of Fame monitor has nowhere near close to being a Hall of Famer, and yet he was inducted in 1998. 6-time Pro Bowler, NFL MVP. Or not NFL MVP, NFL champion. So, that's interesting. Notable guys that are ahead of Tommy McDonald on this list: Wes Welker, Roddy White, Keenan McCardell, Chad Johnson, Irving Fryer, Brandon Marshall, Rod Smith, Boyd Dowler, Sterling Sharp, Hines Ward, Stanley Morgan, Cliff Branch, Jimmy Smith, Anquan Bolden, Harold Jackson. Yeah, Harold Jackson, I mean, let's call it like it is. I mean, the guy played from 68 to 83, and he was a 5-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro. He never won a Super Bowl, but not bad for being drafted in the 12th round, 323rd overall in the 1968 NFL Draft. Harold Jackson had 3 seasons in which he went over 1,000 yards. He went over 1,000 yards with the Patriots, with the Eagles twice. He actually led the league in yards per game and yards in total for the Eagles in 72 and 69. In 73, when he joined the Rams at age 27, he had 874 yards, but he actually led the league with 13 touchdowns. All in all, Harold Jackson didn't do what Ellard did. But that doesn't make Harold Jackson a guy that shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. 76 touchdowns, 10,000 receiving yards. Again, you have to keep in mind, Keyshawn Johnson had like 10,000 receiving yards, right? But Keyshawn Johnson was in more of the modern passing attack era. You're dealing with the 60s and 70s. They wanted to run the football. So I mean, you look at it and you're like, well, Harold Jackson was playing at 5'10", a buck 75, was not a 6'4" Keyshawn Johnson. He's playing at 5'10", a buck 75, and he's playing, you know, in the 60s and 70s when they want to run the football, and he has 3,000-yard seasons. That's pretty impressive. 10,000 yards. I mean, I don't know, man. Okay, so let's see here. Do you think? Oh, I think you asked me that before about Rodrigo Blankenship. If today's players played under 70s rules, 3/4 of the league would be on IR. Okay, Lynn Swann. Here we go. Lynn Swann was a 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, 4-time Super Bowl champion, Walter Payton Man of the Year, Hall of Fame All 1970s team. But his stats, mind you, he got into the 80s here. His stats aren't very good. At all. I mean, if you think about it, 5,462 yards, 51 touchdowns, 336 receptions. That's not the 50s, man. That's not the 50s. And let's do something else here. We're going to duplicate this. I'm going to put in. All right, here's a crazy one. You guys ready for this? So, it's not going to be the same, but I'm going to compare the two to a degree. So we're going to put in a player here that's not in the Hall of Fame. As you guys know, Don Hutson is one of the greatest wide receivers ever. He honestly was the first like deep threat, right? But during Don Hutson's emergence and ascension, there was a guy by the name of Jim Benton who played for the Rams and did a damn good job doing it. I'm losing my voice, so apologies. Jim Benton had 288 receptions. Okay, so keep this in mind. He plays from 38 to 47. Lynn Swann plays from 74 to 82. Lynn Swann played 116 more games than Jim Benton in the late 30s, early 40s. And he had 336 receptions to Jim Benton's 288. He had 5,462 yards to Jim Benton's 4,801 yards, and he only had 51 touchdowns to Jim Benton's 45 touchdowns. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Lynn Swann's a Hall of Famer. I mean, I know he made the Hall of Fame, but that's, yeah. Jim Benton's not a Hall of Famer, by the way. I mean, he only was a Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, led the league in receiving in 45 and 46. All Hall of Fame team in the 1940s, 2-time NFL champion. Yeah, no. Why would he be? Why would that guy be a Hall of Famer? But look, guys, it has been real. It has been fun. We have a bunch of people in here. I'm probably never going to be able to leave if I don't leave now. So I'm going to get going. It's been a blast. We've been streaming since like 9. So, you know, really appreciate the turnout. Been a fun night. You know, what about Tom Fierce? Pretty good night, though. You know, we had 717 playbacks from what I can see here. Average watch time of 9 minutes and 39 seconds. Like that it went up as time went on. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you. Guys, thank you so much for the donations. It's always, you know, it's really appreciated. Robert, you're the man. Carney, appreciate you both. You know, I'll be back soon. I'm going to cut up this video. You know, we'll get, you know, we'll break up those into clips. Like I said, we'll get 3 clips up there. and that will be that. But that's gonna do it. This is the Jake Ellenbogen live show. And I'm signing off, and maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow. We'll see. But appreciate you guys, as always, for keeping me company. You guys have a great night. And if I don't talk to you or see you, have a great week. Later.